Hello, I am Gregory the Poor Typist, and welcome to another edition of Typewriter Club Live. So today our topic is typing endurance. How long was your longest typing session? This should be interesting. I'm glad I thought of this one. Um, yeah, so hopefully you'll join us and give us your thoughts on it. All right, so I will remind you that TypePals is and always will be free. So if you enjoy writing letters and postcards using your typewriter, feel free to join us at typepals.com. Yes. All right, so we have a couple people joining. And there we go. And let me turn on the chat so we can see your chat on the screen.
Turn up anything, so that was good. But there is a risk of 30 or more year old.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. And you?
I'm good. You feeling better?
Yes, much better, much better.
Good to hear.
Yeah, I dare say I'm at 100% now. I think last weekend I was probably about 98%.
Got all your taste and smell back?
Yes, I can taste my coffee. I have my coffee here, so I can taste it again.
That looks like milk, Gregory.
I know, huh? Yeah. Admittedly, I did go a little bit heavy on the creamer, but usually I don't go quite that heavy, but yeah, it's an iced coffee, so yeah. It was exciting seeing you guys all together last week.
It was exciting to be there.
Excellent.
Excellent conversations. Managed to get rid of a couple typewriters.
Nice.
Now I'm down to 52.
Yeah.
Joe managed to pick up a couple typewriters.
What was that?
Joe managed to pick up a couple typewriters, so the world is still in balance.
Yeah. Well, he managed to leave one behind for platinum replacement, his Corona 3.
Oh.
And
we bugged him last night and said, yeah, remember when you used to talk about getting rid of typewriters?
No, he seems to really like that Underwood 5. I've had that
yeah.
one for forever. And I just, put a new platinum on it and just never got around to playing with it. So I decided it would look better in his collection and maybe he would use it more.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. So did you have any thoughts on your gathering, like maybe anything we didn't see in Joe's video that was kind of an overview of the visit?
Oh, well, no, not really. Because we were just sort of doing the four of us sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, five of us, I guess, when you count Brian. We were
yeah.
And,
Yes.
we went thrifting and we did the usual typewriterly stuff.
Yeah.
Do with the luminaries of the typosphere. They come by.
Excellent.
We have fun. We enjoy each other.
Yes. Yeah, and that comes across in Joe's video because you hear the talking in the background and all that, and then we got to see a glimpse of Type Pals in his video, so that was pretty cool.
Well, I recorded a few hours at Mesa Typewriter Exchange. Basically, I just ran the recorder the whole time I was there. So I don't know. I might be able to, chop up some bits and put them on cassette tape.
Ooh.
And, you're about due for cassette tape pretty soon.
I think so, huh?
Yeah. You got to get me one first, though.
Oh, okay.
I seem to realize that you're on the needing to get some mail to me pretty soon.
Yes. And actually, I have a couple things that are going to be coming your way. So probably this week. So
good. Because I had a whole week where nobody sent me anything.
Oh no!
I was starting to feel like nobody loved me anymore.
Yeah.
That's sad when that happens.
You know that's not
Yeah,
true though,
yeah.
Ted.
I don't know it until my mailbox tells me.
That's true. Yeah.
That is the ultimate arbiter of how popular you are in the type server.
So I think we were when we briefly spoke to you last week, I asked you what typewriters of Brian's you had your eye on, and you told us. Was there anything at Mesa Typewriter Exchange that piqued your interest?
Well, not really, because I'm there enough that I pretty much know what he has, and he didn't really have anything new.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, he had new stuff to show them because they hadn't been around in,
Oh, okay, yeah,
years,
that
so.
makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
But
Is
so
there
basically, he was just showing off the machines that he had. Like he has a Corona 3 case that has a little purple felt drawer in it for paper and stuff.
Ooh,
And, it's kind of a custom made case, and
wow.
he's got that. He's got he's got a few things. New Hammond one, which he's pretty proud
Wow.
of. He got from
Yeah.
some guy who got it at Goodwill.
But he's not a collector.
He's not
Not
a
a
collector.
collector.
Nope.
Nope, not a collector.
He's not a collector. But there's certain machines he will not sell you.
Amazing.
Oh,
Amazing how
yeah.
that works. Amazing.
Well, if you think about it, the inventory in his shop is kind of his collection.
No, I mean it's his business. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Bob will
Yeah.
tell you, it's business. You gotta move them machines.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not saying it's a permanent collection. I'm just saying it's a collection.
Yeah. Well,
Good coverage there, Greg.
Oh, thank you. I tried. I need more caffeine actually, but excellent.
anyhow,
And yeah,
what
yeah.
were you gonna
and
ask?
I was just gonna say, have you been doing any writing or like either in your EDC notebooks or your typewriter or both?
Yeah, see, I have this blog that's mentioned right down here, where I put all the stuff that I write. And,
Hint, hint.
hint, hint.
Yes, we'll be sure to check it out.
Yes,
Definitely.
that's why I have this little banner.
Yeah. Sometimes as the host, I have to ask the dumb questions. So
Oh, okay. Well, it's not a dumb
It
question.
is.
There are no dumb questions. There are only
that's true.
questions
That's true.
that are way too easily answered by things that are quite obvious.
Yeah.
It
Such
is
as
fun
links
to
right on
read.
the screen.
It is fun to read Monk's blog. He writes just like he talks. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. And let's see, what typewriter do you have there, Ted?
Oh, that is Thunderbird 2. That is my Elite
Nice.
440T. And
Nice.
this is the one I normally keep on the desk to write in the EDCN. It's already set up.
Okay.
Already set up for skinny paper.
Yeah. So that kind of answers my next question is how does it type? And obviously it types well if you're using it frequently.
That's very well. I'm very happy
Yeah.
with these. I'm very pleased with these 440Ts. They are among my favorite machines.
Excellent.
I mean, you could say that an SM7 types better, but this one's a lot lighter
Ah.
and actually it's more versatile because I can stick an envelope in here. It's got a slightly wide carriage. So
Yeah.
they made the carriage just a little bit bigger. It's got nicer controls on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find them to be reliable and exactly what I need most of the time.
Very good. And it's Thunderbird too.
Yep. I had 4 of them, but
Oh wow.
I got rid of Thunderbird. I actually gave Thunderbird 1 to my nephew many years
Oh,
ago
cool.
so that he could ignore it and pretend that typewriters don't exist.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever seen the Thunderbirds? Do you know the
Oh yeah.
reference? Okay, so
Yeah. I forget the name of that type of puppet.
Marionation. I
There
think
you
it's called.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very, very bizarre.
Very formative for my early years. And
Yes.
all that ITC programming.
Yeah.
Fireball, X-19, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Space
Yes, yes.
1999, UFO.
You're naming all the classics.
Yeah, well, all the Jerry Anderson stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. So does that make you a classic?
I think you could say I'm a classic. Yeah,
Okay, perfect, perfect.
I'm well seasoned.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, it is so good to see you, Ted.
It is good to see you too. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
kind of a busy few weeks.
Yes, yes. Very cool. Sean is typing away.
Gotta type. I get inspired by you guys, 15 different
Oh,
directions when we talk. So there's always something that you can type on. The problem is keeping up with all of the thoughts and the people and the ideas and everything you see. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A couple of my blog posts were typed during I think it was actually hanging with the poor typist, and the blog post was very, very disjointed, and it didn't even come close to catching even the gist of the meeting.
It's tough to keep, to keep your mind on
Yeah,
writing when you're typing,
exactly.
talking. Typing and
Yes,
talking
yes.
is difficult.
Yeah, yep, definitely. So, what typewriter do you have there, Sean?
I've got a 1941 Underwood Champion.
So pretty.
Yeah, that's the gloss black.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, I like the Underwoods. I mean, just in this period after the war, they sucked. But before, they're awesome. They're really, really good, solid typewriters. This is my second gloss black that I bought locally here in town. This is a made in Canada version. We were already a few years here into World War II when this typewriter was made. So they didn't pull this, like they didn't stop typewriter manufacturing for, God, about 3.5 years, really until after the US entered the war and sort of got everybody organized. I think is probably was the catalyst for really stopping commercial production of public goods. So it's neat, in that way. And it's in really good shape. Decals are all intact. And even though it's got really old rubber on it, it still types really evenly and nice, but it could use some new rubber just to cut down on the clang. So yeah, I brought this out last night when we were on the Type and Talk. As everybody talks about different typewriters, I feel the need, much like the writing today, to go and get the different typewriter, bring it out and type so I can sort of live that whole world with everybody. So I switched typewriters probably 3 times within an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just because everybody starts talking about different typewriters, you're like, oh, I got to go run and get that and bring that out. But I kept this one just for a little consistency today, and was just writing up the typing prompt.
Oh,
Trying to be a little creative.
Very good.
Yeah. Got a really nice letter from our friend Russell from Down Under, who's now
Oh, yeah.
Sunshine Coast Typewriters. Russell. A number of us got Christmas cards from Russell, but he's gotten on a couple times, I think, like during his breaks
Yeah,
here, like at 2 a.m. in Australia for him.
exactly.
Anyway, so got a really nice letter from him that I'm going to type him something back, because it takes like 18 months to get letters to Australia, it seems. But yeah, other than that, just moving along. I got to do some soldering. That I haven't showed it yet because it's not working, but I've got that Monarch Pioneer, the Remington, the Depression era Remington with no front around the keyboard there, right, which makes it awfully weird. And the spacebar piece latch, that comes up from the inside of the typewriter to actuate the escapement was broken. So I need to do a bit of a not a weld job, but sort of like a soldering job to get it all back together. A brazing, yes, thank you. I've got to form it with hot metal. And I just haven't done it yet. So that sort of like sits on the edge of my brain every week we get on here because I got to show it at some point.
Oh,
But I want it to be done. So it's just sitting on my workbench over on the other side here. And it's like one of those things that weighs on your soul and your spirit because typewriter's not working is always a sad thing.
yeah.
Put on your inner Lucas Duel.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's definitely the inspiration for a lot of those weird fringe repairs that go beyond 99% of everybody else's ability.
Nobody else would do this.
Yeah. Like when he put that Olivetti, that Lexicon 80 frame back to or body back together. I mean, what a great job.
They did it in place sand casting. That's
like
crazy.
just amazing.
Wow.
So, you know, I think of that and then I go, yeah, no. Spacebar, I'll go as far as the spacebar fix, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. I was just gonna send it down to Bob and have him do it instead.
Ah.
Oh, he's got something he's going to show us.
Welding machine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a.
Oh, you're muted,
Torch.
Bob.
You got to get your propane though, Bob. That doesn't work by itself without that. Yeah, there you go.
Let me unmute. No, I really prefer electrical, I think, over most people, but that's just from my time working in the electronic industry. So I've got this big monster weller, you know, and it'll do 800 degrees or something, 750 degrees, but it's always nice to keep a torch, and you can just run propane with the nice metals we're using. So you don't have to use MAP gas or anything weird like that. So that helps.
Yeah.
So I just refill my propane tank off my barbecue propane tank, right? So
Nice.
and hook it up. But yeah, I get to make all sorts of fun things. It's funny you said like 99% of what other people wouldn't attempt. Seems like I'm always brazing or soldering or putting something back together, you know.
Okay, 98%. Sorry.
Well, I think it just comes down to you know, the condition you get the machines in. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know what it could be.
Yeah, totally. Like I did like this thing when I got it, you know, of course, it's typical online sales, right? Restored. And you're like, you know, it's not restored, but you don't know to what level people consider restored. And then you get it and the space bar doesn't work to move the carriage. And you're like, okay, well, that's really not restored. And then you get irritated and upset and have to break the whole thing down.
Well, I think it'd be neat to look it up on the law books in Canada. You know, here in the US, we can't legally say restored. Restored is something that's totally different. And I really worry about all these you know, different typewriter companies throughout the US saying, yes, we restore typewriters. Well, actually you don't, and you're gonna fall into a legal battle if you really have issue with it. So I always say I just recondition them, you know.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And that's where I guess we have to be the NAMDA, the new NAMDA of the modern world to sort of drive some consistency out there to some degree, right? I mean, there's certain things that there's never really been standards for it, and everybody can use their marketing skills to spin it however they want, but that just goes a bit beyond the pale.
Well, we've got a handful of court cases here in the US against it. If you say you restored something and you didn't do A, B, and C, and you didn't make sure it was back to factory spec and measure everything and have records of said measurements, etc., yeah, you're not restoring, and you're going to have all sorts of issue.
Yeah, well, if you get a typewriter injury from a improperly restored typewriter,
that's right.
Class action lawsuit, man.
Obviously, it applies to motorcycle industry, car industry, industries like that I've come from. I just, you know, and it may never happen. I just worry someday somebody's going to lose their shirt over using the word restoration, and it isn't restoration. Yeah, it's reconditioning. So I think it's okay to just say. And people will ask me all the time, "Oh, you restore these typewriters?" I recondition them. Yes, you know, that's instead of correcting them, right?
Well,
yes, I recondition. Yeah.
To be fair, I got 50% of my investment back after I called the guy on it and said, "Look, this isn't restored. Here's all the problems that I found. This is what I'm going to have to do to fix them. Like, do you want me to send this back? Because I'm sort of pissed, sort of upset." And he was like, no, I'll just, you know, will this be okay? And so everything was amicable and it was all good. And now I can put the time in without feeling too bad. But it's just too bad you had to do that in the first place, right? When you purchase something under an impression. But
Amen.
it is.
Amen. Well, good for you for being a good sport about it. I think that's
Well, I'm Canadian. That's part of the problem, right? You just sort of, sometimes you let a little too much go, and you need to learn to channel your inner American a little more.
there you go.
I don't do that a lot. Sometimes you just think you need to, hey, you said this, and this is not what it is, and be the what's the male version of a Karen, a Chad.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
Kevin?
it's
No.
it's hard too. There's so many aspects. I know, coming from the world of guitars, amplifiers, or motorcycle, whatever. There might be 58 things you got to double check on those. On a typewriter, there's 258. So
Yeah.
there's just so much that can go wrong, and so you really have to be that much more detail oriented, and you got to make sure it is what the customer wants. That's why I really enjoy. That's why I still do the appointment, and I still sit down with people, in my showroom, make sure they know what they're doing, make sure I can instruct them to do what they're going to do, and make sure the typewriter, more importantly, make sure the typewriter is going to do what they want it to do, right? So
Yeah.
it's a give and take. A lot of it is not lack of knowledge, but I think it's lack of relationship that we as a society we've lost with the typewriter. We can all look at a typewriter and think, oh, I'm sure I can operate that. But then you start operating it, things are breaking left and right. Who knows? There's 258 dang factors that all have to be correct for everything to be correct. So.
Yeah.
And they're 60, 70 years old.
And
Yeah.
Oh, amen. God bless you. You're so correct.
well, it's like the body, right? I mean, I always liken this to, there's so much to connect. You can fix one thing, but that's really not truly the problem. You got to trace all the way up from the ankle to the knee to the hip, all the way back to the torso where the real problem is, but it's radiated all the way out through the mechanism. So, in my early repair days, it was like, oh, there's the problem, fix. Well, that didn't fix it. That made it worse. You're tracing
Right.
back all the way through the typewriter until you find, oh, this little spinny round star thing here that seems to do everything is the problem. So,
It'll
yeah,
happen. And then what does it take to get to said problem?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
yeah. And that's just
Only
time.
60 or
Well, it's good
70
to see
years
you.
old.
or in your case, 125, 40.
I'm being sarcastic.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're the older typewriter person in the group, and I don't mean age-wise.
You do know that the Federal Trade Commission actually has standards for typewriter, what can be called reconditioned, rebuilt, remanufactured, and overhauled.
Is that still in
Really?
Yeah, they had to basically, in the back of all these NAMDA blue books that I've got, starting sometime in the mid 50s, the Federal Trade Commission came down on them and basically said, here's all the terms that you can use and what states these machines have to be in order for you to be able to say that they're reconditioned or rebuilt or, overhauled. Or so they have definitions for all these terms, and they spell out quite specifically, you can't sell a machine as reconditioned if it doesn't have these things in it. So
Why don't we, Ted, why don't we restart NAMDA? We'll call it NAMDA 21, like for the 21st century, and then start pushing all the standards back out.
And then in the 80s, Daryl Rear, in his book Antique Typewriters, has an appendix on rating typewriter condition. So they have very specific terms for what you can call mint, what you can call excellent, very good, decent, and they have a whole checklist for how to do that, and even a section on shipping old typewriters.
That's exactly what we need to put out
Wow.
there.
Yeah, that's a great book. I found one of those in Portland, and I gave it to Anthony down there at the
Mhm.
Typespace.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I should make a blog post on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what the various conditions are and what they mean. And,
You could write a dang book on it. Please.
Well, I could
for the love of
probably get
God.
about 6 pages out of it. So
Yeah, show that trade commission page to a bunch of lawyers, and a bunch of people are in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just triple space everything. It'll work out to like 28 pages. It'll be a great book.
Brian Good says, call it Namda Plume.
Not
Down to
Dum de
bloom.
bloom. Ba-dum.
By the way, Sean, M6 Pops was asking if your typewriter there is Pica or Elite.
This one is an elite. Yes, thanks. Sorry, I neglected to mention that. It's
Okay.
elite, which is good because then I can fit more on the page. So I couldn't write a book, but no, I could. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, elite's nice on this typewriter.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very
good
cool.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I don't have really much else, but I'll read maybe my typing prompt.
Oh yeah, please do.
It's 16 pages, so I'll get started now.
Okay.
No, just joking. It's a paragraph.
It was your longest typing session, right?
This was my longest typing endurance. Yeah. Typing endurance is a chicken or egg situation. It depends on the typewriter, but it can depend on the writer. A writer with a grain of inspiration, a nucleus of creative motivation, or the egg of some mental sunrise waiting to be cracked and opened over the keyboard. If a writer possesses a strong enough energy, then the typewriter is less of an issue. But the typewriter plays an interesting and important part, a partnership of creativity, if you will. If the typewriter is not up to the task when the writer is, the writing may fail. The endurance may be short. And that's as far as I got.
Oh. Excellent. Very good. You always leave us wanting more, Jean.
Well, I'll thanks. I'll try harder. I'm not very good at my type pals homework. I usually just read it like 40 minutes before the meeting starts, and then once I see all you guys, I start getting at it.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes I create the prompts like 40 minutes before the meeting.
That's okay. I like that. I really believe in the like the radio free write, the flash fiction. First draft, don't polish it. This is just rough, and it's got to be understood to be rough. It's human. You read it with all of its mistakes and problems and issues, and just go with it. Have no fear. We get so held up all the time with trying to make things perfect because we're worried about how people might judge us or look at us or perceive us. And you know what I say? Screw that.
Yeah.
Write and go for it. Speak with your true voice. Be a TED monk.
Excellent.
Yeah, I definitely take the first take every time.
Yeah.
I never rewrite anything.
Yeah, and if somebody doesn't like it, too bad. Move on.
Yep. Very cool. Excellent. Well, it's so good to see you, Sean.
You as well, Gregory. Good to see you as well. I love your hairdo today. It looks good.
I know we have a little. I don't know if you can make it out there, but there's like a little flip going.
I saw your flip. I like your flip.
It's like the Superman curl, except all the way across your forehead.
Yeah.
Woo!
Whoop, 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 whoop.
By the way, Ted, I would like to pose the typing prompt to you. If you haven't typed anything, that is, what is your longest typing session?
Oh, yeah, I had to unmute there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can tell you that my longest typing session did happen on typewriters. That always happens to be the case. Even if I'm coding, I'm not typing very much as a coder. I tend to, cut and paste a lot. It's like, you write a section here and then you cut and paste it, and then you don't do a whole lot of writing. A lot of it is just, referencing libraries and stuff. So
Exactly.
When I was thinking about it, and then I actually wrote down typing endurance semicolon, and I was gonna type all this stuff out, but I was thinking about it, and that's really why I was so attracted to typewriters. Even back in the 90s when I didn't know anything about them, is I'd see these $5 writing machines in the thrift stores, and I'd grab them and just set them out by the bar and outside and just type on them and let them fill up with dust. And because that wasn't in part of my brain at that time, I was just like, I'm going to use it and leave it out here in the rain because that's where I want to type, and so I'll just leave the machine there. And
Wow.
I ruined a lot of Selectrics doing that because I used to have a fondness for Selectric 2s. that, and back in the 90s, you'd find them pretty much everywhere in thrift stores, and they'd be in perfect working condition. And so, I'd buy one, put it out on the picnic table outside and type on it for a couple months until it stopped working. Then I'd throw it away and buy another one.
Oh my God.
Because, I didn't know any better. I like to type. That was my thing. And,
Yeah.
and that time I realized that, it's like a fountain, not a fountain pen, but like a ballpoint pen you find in a thrift store. It's like you grab it, put it where you need to put it, and use it to write until it stops writing, and then you throw it away and buy another one. Because they're only $5. Why do I care?
Exactly. Yeah.
But I
And of
am
course
guilty of destroying quite a few Selectrics that way.
Well, there was bazillions of them too, to be fair, at the time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No big deal.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. Anytime I wanted a typewriter, a Selectric, I could go in, Salvation Army or Goodwill, and there would be one there, and it would not cost very much.
You won't find one working now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, is that nowadays they're not so good working, but that was, what, almost 30 years ago.
Wow.
So,
When the grease was still fresh.
yeah, well, I mean, wasn't quite as near as crusty, but
That's a question I have about Selectrics. If you use like modern grease now, would it still, would you be able to put it in a closet for 20 years and it work?
I don't know. I haven't done it.
I guess we'd have to wait. It's a time test.
That's the thing, is that I do clean Selectrics when I get them now, and a lot of times I'll just stick them on a bottom shelf, and there's some that I've not used in a couple years, and when I bring them out, I have to clean them again because the interposers are all jammed, are stuck in place, and you have to do the shift thing to get the ball moving again. And so, I mean, yeah, I guess
Synthetic grease now. I mean, they didn't have that back then.
Mhm.
Back then, it was probably made out of cows or something.
well, a lot
Whales
of
and
times,
horses.
especially here in Arizona, where, I mean, we get dust everywhere. In the Southwest, we live in the desert, and so dust is everywhere. So I could put fresh grease on something and stick it in a closet, and if it's not completely hermetically sealed, it's going to have dust in it again in a couple years. So it's just unavoidable. I don't know that
Yeah.
synthetic grease would really help that, because it still gets dust stuck in it.
Well, Brendan, why don't you do that? Do a test, stick it in a barrel. When it comes out in 20 years, we'll call it barrel aged.
Mhm.
Here, I got one here. Perfect for it. Actually, I have another one showing up soon too.
Oh,
But none of them work. I mean, I bought 5, 6, and all of them say they work. And I'm the grab and go guy. I
Mhm.
grab it, pay $10 or whatever, get home, and then I test it. And that's just my own fault. And then I put them on Marketplace for free and lose $10.
oh,
You're helping
That's
the
$10.
industry.
Well, run some solvent through the rack first. I mean, that's the main. That's 90% of the time, that's all it takes to get them running again. So
Yeah. Some of them the keys were pretty sticky. I just got one dropped off here, which I'll get to eventually. And then I found a guy that used to he phoned me out of the blue. He used to be an IBM tech for years,
yeah.
and he has boatloads of brand new old stock parts that he wants to give me.
Oh boy.
Oh, jump on
So
that.
I'll be posting that stuff up soon.
Good, Brendan, because the sooner you get up to speed, the sooner I can send my Selectric out to you.
Yeah, and I'll be sending it to Dwayne.
I'm okay with it.
Well, I mean, you need a Selectric guy in Canada is the thing. So
Yeah.
we got a few here. We got one in the South and one here in Phoenix, or a couple here in Phoenix, but
We need a couple.
California.
We don't want to send anything out to the East Coast.
I'm not up to speed, but this guy did it for years. So I told him, I said, you've opened up a can of worms that I'm going to be bugging you like crazy as soon as I get started. So,
be his Padawan.
yeah, I will. Yes, he'll be my Yoda.
Yeah. Go through the Ames course that's Brian Brumfeld put up on YouTube.
The matchbook cover one.
Yeah. Actually have the flyers for that course, and Bill Wall at Mesa Typewriter Exchange. That's how he got his selector training. Is he went to the Ames course
Oh,
Really?
and watched all those videos and went through the actual book and everything, and
So that
apparently, works.
wow.
Yeah,
Excellent.
one day.
One day.
I want to stick to the manual for now.
Oh no, studying! I don't like studying.
I haven't
I think
graduated
it's a
high
real-
school yet. I gotta.
I think it's a real catch-22. I like the Selectrics. I've worked on them, but I got a guy down the road who will do them. So I just kind of send them to him, business machines, wheelwrights, whatnot. But he won't do the older stuff. I got that IBM 11C that I'm
Mhm.
almost done with that I did. But I had to like rebuild the motor, rewire everything, get a new cap for it. Luckily, the switch was the only thing that was left that was good. But it was no different than rewiring an old amp for me.
Yeah.
I still had all the stuff to do it with. So that was very rewarding. So I look forward to giving it back to the customer.
Mhm.
But there was just a ton of beeswax. I'm sorry, is it Brendan? Brendan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned about the kind of lubricants that they use. This thing was just covered and coated in beeswax, and I've got a recirculating tank that I can. It's a smaller one, 3.5 gallons. Actually, Greg was here last week. I showed it to him,
Yeah.
and it just runs mineral spirits. And I just put it on there. I put a post up about it, but I would just pick a section where they had put this heavy beeswax, and I'd just let it circulate for 30 minutes, and then I'd go to another section, then I'd go to another section, and then I went to test it last night. I thought I was all done, and sure enough, there's still some beeswax in the vibrator. So I had to rip the back off the machine, put the machine at and then stick the hose. I just have the pump going into a hose, so I can stick the hose in a certain part of the machine, hope that it stays there, or clip it there, or whatever. Let it run for 30 minutes, and then of course let the machine sit for a day and dry out and whatnot. Make sure.
Just a parts washer, recirculated parts washer.
Yeah, so it's instead of being like a big 20 gallon that we'd use for,
Yeah.
because I've got one of those too. I used to really clean the machines. It's a 3.5 gallon parts washer. I think I paid $100 for it. And what I do is I took a 1 gallon jug of mineral spirits and I poured it in, and then I took that 1 gallon jug and I set it in. So it's only holding a gallon, right?
Right.
It has 2 gallons. So that way I've got $20 of consumables and they're not $40, whatever. So that seems to really be helping me as far as getting all the old lube out. I think it really depends on the kind of lube you use. Anything plastic to plastic, you got to use a white lithium. We're very fortunate to have that these days. Everything else is just whatever. I most of the time I use a diluted sewing machine oil with a bit of either mineral spirits, or I'll use alcohol, but then I have to shake it and kind of get it to mix. But whatever. I mean, it just depends on the lubricants you're using. I've had great luck though with the thin sewing machine oil. I think if you use it straight, it works great on the carriages or whatnot. But I just had to put this carriage on this Underwood Champion, and I used a thick synthetic grease out of a. Anyways, I do that just so I can, stick the bearing roller guides in there and then put it all together without it falling apart or gravity actually mattering, right? So but then I had to clean all that out and then put in some sewing machine oil. So I think I've only been at this 6-7 years now, and I've never had an issue where a newer sewing machine lubricant has caused any issue in a machine that I worked on 6-7 years ago. So I think we're very fortunate. But I live in a desert. It's almost as deserty as where Monk is. So as long as you keep it covered, I think it's really going to do fine at the end of the day. But I tell all my customers that typewriters are like bicycles. If you use them once a week, they really will just last forever.
Yeah, the IBMs, if you pull them out when you use them, they'll keep going. But the seizing up, it's like you say, the beeswax, the yellow, gunky, thick. Add a fistful of dust, and then you got a bunch of mud.
And there's just no way to get that beeswax out. There's just, I've tried spending half an hour digging, and you just, the circulating pump just makes it work for me. And you come across it every so often. So it's nice just to take the machine and set it in, and you just have the hose going on the one area. So I don't have to take the machine apart, or most of the time, as long as the bottom's open. If it's like a Corona 6, I'd probably take the bottom off, but you can get it where it's just dripping not on the paint, and it'll be fine. It really will. So anyways, that's what works for me.
What, anybody have an ultrasonic?
Let's fight. Let's fight.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about those. I've never had one, but everyone keeps telling me to get one, and I'm like, my system works fine, so
Yeah.
I don't mind spending 20 minutes manually scrubbing a typewriter.
Gregory's got a couple Smith Corona ultrasonics.
Yes. Yeah, they're actually pretty wonderful. Usually with the daisy wheels, you have that delay between when you press the key and when the element strikes the page.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Gregory. I'm sorry. We were talking about ultrasonic cleaners.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but
It turned into a joke.
Ted set me off on my typewriter.
Segueing it back to
It
typewriter.
segued over, Bob.
There you go. There you go.
I was
Imagine.
going to say on Bob's comment about the bicycle, typewriters being like a bicycle. Like if you fall off a typewriter, you can always get back on.
Yes, yes.
Or you could sue them under the Federal Trade Commission rules if they haven't properly advertised the condition of the typewriter when you bought it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
The people in my life are so excited I play with typewriters now because they know I won't fall off and kill myself at 85 miles an hour off a typewriter. So
Yeah, but I'll say if you've fallen off a typewriter, you're doing it wrong.
You're definitely right. Interpretive
Is this
typewriting.
typewriter shirt
Dangerous.
day? I see a couple of typewriter shirts out there.
I'm representing the thermal typewriters.
Can I just make a suggestion? We don't refer to it as the ribbon vibrator anymore. We'll just call it the ribbon lifter. I was at work last week and somebody said, "Hey, how's the typewriter thing going?" And I said, "I'm having a problem with my vibrator." And there was awkward silence for like 3 minutes. And I'm
Sorry,
going,
Sean. No.
yeah. So after I
has to-
realized, because when you deal with it all the time, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But for people who are not typewriter people, certain terms they just think are like snicker, like, yeah, oh, God, yes.
Got
And,
problems with
yeah.
the bichrome.
Yeah, I'm into bichrome for sure.
I think it's just
Oh,
part
my
of the
goodness.
course, man. It's
It's
like
part of the course.
it's like working in the plumbing industry and they've got like male and female this and that and nipples and who knows what,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just part of the deal.
Yeah. And it's funny, male and female, like you got to know which parts go to what, and most people generally do.
You
But
do.
Well, I
Stop right
understand.
now.
I understand what you're saying, though, Sean. I know at my day job I'll say caulk all the time.
oh, you're a caulker?
Caulk.
Yeah.
Let me
It's
get my
caulk.
caulk.
Yeah. That's more the British term, everybody else is sort of like says it the other way.
Right.
Caulk.
Right.
Excellent. And so what's new with you, Bob? It's been forever since you've been on.
I know, and I'm so sorry. I really have been that busy. It's nice to slow down, and the secret to any business is to make sure whatever you're doing grows with you, right? And so I had Greg over last week, so I got to show him some of the expansion that I'm doing, and it was very important to me not to just expand and make a space and make everything happen. It's very important for me that my business, of course, grows with the black, the positive income coming in. I've been very blessed with business, so that's very exciting. So we've expanded. I've got my part-time employee. She's working really hard. She's turned out to be just a dream come true because she doesn't break anything. She's very soft with everything. She has no idea what she's doing. She knows nothing about typewriters. She just does exactly as she's tasked to do. And I shouldn't say she's really picked up on what to do. Like she understands what I want, and that's why I really like having her around. So that's exciting, and I share that just in case other people who are working, if you can find someone who will, that you can really communicate with, you really can employ them and have it work well. She's also, we've gone out a lot, birthday parties, weddings, and the like. We've been doing quite a bit of that, or a lot more than I thought ever humanly possible. And she's very good at that. She's 20 years old. She's a musician, local college student. I know her dad real well. She plays bass guitar like I played bass guitar. I mean, I still play bass guitar. I just, she has a great way to communicate. Let me think. I did have Cesar Martinez out here for a week. I sponsored that. So I don't know if you guys heard about that. So that turned out to be pretty fruitful. And I really, I told him before he came here, I do things very differently, and you're going to have to be okay with doing things my way. And you're going to have to be okay with doing things the way we do things around here. And he showed up, and after a day, I said, well, you've been at it 8 hours. How do you feel? And his answer was, boy, I'm a real amateur. I have no idea what I'm doing. And of course, our response was, that is correct. You need that attitude all the time. So I looked at him and I said, I'm an amateur and I have no idea what I'm doing, So I think he really has a good idea about it. I did offer him full-time employment for the summer. So we'll see how that works for him. If he can get back out to California, because it's a stretch to jump on a plane and come on out. But he's got just the best attitude you can ever imagine. And youth, I've learned that we can't think that youth is a crime, right? So we got to let young people be young people, and they're not unintelligent. They don't lack intelligence. They just don't know yet because they're 20 or 20 something or whatever. So that's very exciting to kind of relearn myself. I mean, I'm 40 now, and so it's okay for me to be that old guy, because I had a bunch of old guys in my life. Before I had Cesar out, I called a few of them, and they said, well, you were a good kid, but you were a kid, and this is what you did, and this is what you did wrong, but you did so much right, it didn't matter, whatever, right? So that was real nice. You just kind of learn it isn't passing the torch, it's just being the person to someone else, because all those people were the people in your life, right? We all have the top 5 people in our lives. So that's been very exciting. Let me think. I decided to sell the trailer. It's nice to have it. I currently have it up for sale, so I'm trying to sell it. Let me think. I got some warehouse space to expand, actually. So I've got some offsite warehouse space, which has really helped. It's air conditioned, it's climate controlled. So that's really helped as far as organizing my several hundred machines. So we spent a lot of effort and energy doing that. And we've spent a lot of effort and energy, just redoing the shop the way we want it. I just realized behind me there's a big pile of stuff, and that stuff is like the extra stuff. And if we have something extra, we put it there for a week, and if we don't use it, then we put it in the shed in the back, right? So we realize we may not use it. So how do we set up the shop so we only have things that we use around? So little things like that, because it is a shop, it is a business, and I very much thrive on how to be as efficient as possible while making sure everybody's having a good time. And what does it take to do that? I ran a big shop many years ago. I work in a shop now as part of a team. So how do we build a team and make the team happen and have a good time doing it above everything? And we get to play with typewriters. It's very exciting. I'm very inundated with work, so I'm a little behind in schedule. Things that I thought would take 3 weeks to get back to the customer are taking 4 or 5 weeks, including this one in front of me. And then of course the showroom stuff, we're constantly, it's a push versus a pull of the business. You're pushing out machines so people can purchase them. Then you're pulling, the repair, of course, is a pull work. But we're very fortunate, I think, to have the supplies that we do. Of course, I'm doing, I'm doing my own platens myself now. I'm doing my own paint work. I've got a paint booth in the back. And what I did to expand the shop is I had a carport, and so I wrapped 3 sides of the carport, and that's real nice because the air flows. We don't get freezing winters like other people do, so it's really nice to be outside. We can wear an N95 mask, not an air, not an air system. I forget what they're called. I know I'm certified to wear one. I redo my cert every few years.
Respirator.
A respirator, yeah.
Respirator.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's hilarious. Yeah. Anywho, so that's real nice, because if we were working in a warehouse space, we'd need ventilation and forced ventilation and maybe a door open, whatever. Here we're just outside in the shade, in a port. We call it shop port just to make it easier. And we've gotten really big into labeling, of course. It's in technical terms, it's called a Kanban system. So everything's labeled. So I know if something has a yellow tag on it with a blue dot, that Grace or Cesar has done everything that they could to that machine, and it's my turn to pay attention to it. So I can look down my rack of machines here. I've got a big rack of a big shelving unit of machines to the side here. I can look down and see if there's a yellow tag and a blue dot. That's how much work I have to do soon, right? So that's real nice. It's nice to delegate, get out, and having multiple people touch the machines, as I've always said, has really enabled us to do that much better of a job, because I don't think I've ever missed anything. The problem is we're working on different models all the time. And so being able to catch everything without me I don't have to ask myself 258 questions when I'm testing or finally testing a machine. Because I know this person's asked 100 of them, this person's asked 100 of them. Now I just have to ask 58 to make sure that it works right. So I think that really adds to it. Business is good. I'm looking forward to doing a bigger and better website soon. I think that'll really assist me. Lucky for me, Greg's kind enough to chat it out with me. So that's fun. I do need, I need to ask Monk a favor. You've got a PayPal, don't you, Monk?
Yes, I do.
So I'm going to ask you a favor. No reservation. You can say no. I need to get some money over to Bill. If I sent you some money via PayPal, could you take it to him next time you're over there in the next month or so? Do you think you'll be over there in the next month?
Probably would, yeah.
Okay, it's a personal favor, and I sure would consider it. Bill sent me some parts and said, "Don't worry about it. If you need to pay me, send me a check." I think this would be easier that way.
Checks?
Yeah, I just yeah.
The Bank of Ted.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's been a benefit too. It's nice to have friends like Bill, who I can call on and go, "Hey, I'm looking for these parts, and I think you might have them," and he'll spend half an hour running around finding the parts and getting it together for me and then shipping it to me. Well, yeah, I'm gonna pay. It's $50 for any part in the industry. So I'll send him the money, and I sure would consider it a personal favor, Mr. Monk.
No problem.
I thank you. That's great. Yeah. So we've just been real busy. Thanks for asking, Gregory. Business is good. We're very busy expanding, and we're having a good time. I'm going to go up to Palm Springs next weekend. Old Jack up there is really looking to get out of the business, so I'm going to take my excursion just to make sure I can fill it with as many machines as he wants to sell me. But I'm going to get him on a podcast as well. I got the Haikuists on a podcast last week. I'm busy editing that, so that'll be fun to put out. The Haikuists are terribly talented people here in Southern California. Well, they're all over the world. They're in Ohio, they're in New York, they're in San Francisco. I should say they're all over the U.S. I think there's one branch in Canada. It's so funny how we say the world, but I know he's got some in another country. Anyways, they show up to parties and do haikus. They write haikus for you all day long on their typewriters. And I've gotten to service their machines, of course. So that'll be fun. So we'll, slowly but surely, just keep having a good time with it. Thanks for asking. It's so good to be on here and see everybody. And I just haven't. Robert's been busy with band and whatnot, so sometimes I'm doing that, and then sometimes I'm really busy hustling with typewriters and whatnot. But right now we're very excited to get Cesar back here to Southern California and just, you know, let him have some fun with the typewriters and enjoy life. And I think it's hard because people say training, like how do you train someone? Well, it isn't training. It's just taking the small tasks and doing your part of the small tasks and going through the task. And so, you know, I'll have him do 200 things to a machine and I'll do the other 58. And it's a good system, I think. I mean, it's working so far. I don't heat up my tank to wash a machine. I heat up my tank to wash 6 or 8 machines at a time, right? Things like that. So just to make sure, it's kind of like craft line work. That's kind of how it works out at the end of the day. Let's be crafty about it and let's put it on a line. This is all probably pretty boring. I really get excited about this stuff though. Can I do something in 12 minutes instead of 15 minutes? That'd be really exciting. How do I do that? Whatever.
I know, I'm loving it. I'm loving what you're saying. I mean, what an opportunity for him as a young man to be able to go to Southern California, work on typewriters, train under someone who is so skilled, and then be able to hang out in such a cool place in the world. I mean, what a dream. What a dream for a kid that age, you know?
Yeah. And I had similar, maybe we all had, I hung out at a farm in Wisconsin when I was his age and worked on a farm, and it wasn't a dairy farm. It was Christmas trees and ginseng. It was 300 acres. So I hung out on a tractor a lot and I don't know, chase of other farmers' daughters around, whatever. It was a great time, you know, and that's what I did in the summertime in college. So I'm very excited for him to be able to do that. Plus our monetary value here in Southern California is so much higher than it is in Central Texas.
Yeah.
It
I
really
mean, it's going to be making fantastic memories for him. He's going to look back at that when he's an older guy and just be like, wow, what a cool thing that I got to do that. What an opportunity, you know?
Yeah. If I can keep the teenage girls in the neighborhood from chasing him around so much, I think we'll be okay.
Good luck with that.
I know. Good luck with. They came over when he was here, you know, like one at a time. They'd kind of filter in to meet him and say hi. It was really cute. Really cute from my point of view. But
that's cute.
Oh, you work on typewriters, you know, and they just think of me as some weird guy. I'm riding motorcycles, playing with typewriters, whatever. But so that was fun, and I think there'll be a lot of good. You know, there'll be a lot of goodness. He hung out here for 6 days. I really have to give him credit. Initially, I thought we just have him hang out for a few days. But if you really want to know someone, have him hang out for 6 days. And he didn't stay in the house. You know, he hung out in my mother-in-law suite, like on the back of the property. And it's got full plumbing and everything. So it worked out real well. He had his own private space. But he'd be out here on the shop till midnight, 1, 2, you know, whatever. And then I'd have to wake him up by 10 a.m. Okay, well, let's get back to work. You know? You're just in the shop too late, but get back at it. And, you know,
it's typewriter boot camp, man.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there'll be a future for that too, you know, in the future. It's just a different way of looking at things. And I have no idea how it clicks for me. And it clicks for other people. I've never met anything on a typewriter I can't repair or remake or redo. We just get to learn, you know, we just get to have relationships with that. And I enjoy being in the shop and doing. I think Brendan was the one the other day. He told me his whole shop is on wheels. That's pretty exciting. Is that what you were telling me?
I keep everything on wheels, just in case, you know, like, you know, I can move it around if I want. And I made a point of that. I bought a workbench that had wheels. And I just thought, well, let's keep it on wheels, keep it mobile if I have to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, for cleaning, but that's hypothetical because we don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but good for you for. And you know, that's funny. You'd be amazed what we have to go through around here. We'll sweep up and then we sweep everything into a white dustpan, and then we go through the white dustpan to see if there's any screws or anything that we're missing. And half the time, you know, sometimes we find mice turds or rat turds, which is bad, you know, because I am in a garage. And actually I set a mouse trap maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, and kind of forgot about it till I walked in here this morning and went, Oh no. Well, the mouse trap or the rat trap, it's a big old jaw sucker, a big old plastic jaw. It's not where it's supposed to be. And I can see that it fell and I can't find it to save my life. So I'm gonna probably spend the rest of the day sniffing it out because I'm just somewhere in here there's a dead rat and a big monster trap and I gotta find it. Go figure.
Well, Bob, you should use one of those magnetic grabbers, that you have for automobiles, the one with the magnet on the end. Just stick that in your dustpan and that'll pull out what you need and it won't
There you
grab any
go.
rat.
Got to put a
Oh,
tether
yeah.
to it. Got to tether it.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I just bought a tether system actually. Oh, here it is. I just bought a tether system for my Dremel. It's a
There
little
you
light.
go. Just put it on the rat trap.
Yeah. No, the having the tether for a Dremel, and that's the fun part, right? One thing at a time. Like this week I did this. Next week I'll do that. I actually just built 2x4s with holes in them so I could put my containers in them so that it doesn't fall over. I don't have my I put them on my workers, on my team members bench before I put it on mine. And then I burned out the drill I was using. I don't know if I put a post up where this drill was on fire, so I'll have to make mine next. Yeah, that sucker's 30 years old.
Smoking drill.
Smoking, shame on me. I'll probably rip it apart and rebuild it though. See if I can find some brushes. Why not? That stuff. Yeah. Anyway, it's good to see y'all.
Good to see you too, Bob. Excellent.
I'm
For
not
letting me share.
saying, I'm not saying you shouldn't find that rat, but if you get a cinnamon broom, it kind of helps.
What is it?
Have you ever seen those cinnamon brooms? They're like coated. It's like a broom, a little broom, like an old time broom, and
Yeah.
it's coated in cinnamon, and it reeks of cinnamon so bad it's hard to smell anything else. Which
Oh,
Wow.
okay. There you
come
go.
in handy. They get lost, and you don't know where the smell is coming from. If they're in your subfloor or whatever. Oh my God,
But it always
Uh,
smells like Christmas.
Exactly. The broom works until they dry up, and then you don't smell them anymore. I'm talking about the mouse when it dries up, or the rat, or whatever. Once it's dead, dry, then you're not going to smell it anyway. Even if someday when they tear your house apart, they find it in the subfloor.
Somewhere hiding. Yeah. No, we'll see. I suspect it's just I don't have drywall here in the shop, and I suspect it just crawled up on on a baseboard somewhere on the floor. And I was down on my hands and knees looking for it, and still I just thought, oh my gosh, I'll have to. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get the kids in here. The kids will probably find it way before I will.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if you can burn it place down too, that's the other way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's great.
Just take all the typewriters out first.
But yeah.
Save the typewriters.
No, don't leave the typewriter. You might find it in the typewriter.
Yeah.
That would suck. Yeah, that would really suck. No,
Yeah,
I know
it
it's on the floor somewhere. I can see it hit the floor because
Yeah.
I had it in the rafters right about here, and it fell off the rafters and it fell on my bench that has all my nuts and bolts. And so I had a pile of boxes of drywall screws. Well, that whole pile disintegrated all over the floor, and then so I know it's got to be on the floor somewhere. It'll be
Yeah.
fun. Thank
Wow.
God for the young people in my life. I'm going to bring them in on the task. I'll put a glove on and handle the thing, of course, but yeah, well,
Yeah.
stay tuned. And this happens probably every other year around here. You just have to deal with it as part of having a house, right? Or having a place.
Yep. Excellent. Well, again, it's so good to see you, Bob.
Thanks, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. Robert has his mouth full. Robert's eating.
No, I think it's okay. I've got some,
Oh, okay.
had just some peanut flips.
Okay.
Not very healthy, but it's okay. Hello, everyone here. Hope you're all great and fine and safe and whatever. Maybe you remember some weeks, or maybe it was the year, I was complaining about the problem to get American typewriters here in Germany.
Yes.
And now I think really I'm close to finish my collecting because I really have now everything I wanted. I got now here. For you, I think in America it's bread and butter, but it's Remington 5, I think. Has some specialities because I think it's a Danish keyboard, you see. has Omskräbere, or here you see the A
Oh,
with
yeah.
a circle, and these, and here you can see
Yep.
something. It reads like Omskriftare. So I think it's built for Denmark, as far as I. It came yesterday by, and I'm quite fine because it's really a beautiful machine. It's really beautiful. I like these curvy things and so. And as far as I can judge, it works fine. Just had some issues with the ribbon transport, but now it works. And
What year is it?
that's a bit of a problem because the serial number, wait, I wrote it down somewhere. I was looking for it because it has a, maybe Ted can help me with this. Wait, where do I have it? Here. The serial number named BT, so Bravo Tango 69042, and on the database
39 or 40?
okay, so because the BT, this means something I think like built for foreign countries, and it has a tabulator and not these function where you press and it goes 5 spaces. So on the back side you can see here the little rack.
Yeah, the auto
with 2 manual
manual tabs.
Yeah, here you can see one of them. Here's one, you can stick them, and the other one is here. So it's, I think they're different. I think this is an older one, but I don't know. So you can't set the tabulators on the keyboard. But to be honest, I really very rarely use tabulators, or have them in one position, and that's okay for when I'm writing an address or something. And on the other hand, I have enough typewriters with very sophisticated tabulators, and I can tabulate as long as I want and for my entire life if I want to. So it's quite okay to have a very simple tabulator, one setting, and that might be okay where I write the date or maybe the center of the page or something like that. But it's a fine machine. I like it. I love it. And really, I'm nearly when I'm browsing through the offers on the internet. No, I got this one. No, I don't need this one. So really, I'm starting to be complete with my collection. But
what was your serial? What was that serial number again?
It was Bravo Tango BT 69042. 69042.
69042. Okay. Mine's 93415, but mine's just a B. So I wonder what the T is, because mine's just B and then 93415.
So you have the function when you have the 5-space tabulator, I think, or doesn't you?
It's got a touch regulator, I know, and it's.
Yeah, I have them too on the center of the hood. Yeah, very beautiful, and it works quite fine. The touch control, though.
Mine says it's a late 1941.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that a 39.
Ted called it.
Really good.
I'll go with that.
And I've seen some of them have. This one has the lever foldable here. But there's no case. There came no case with it, so that's the problem. But I've seen others on the database. They haven't this foldable lever here. But nice.
Very nice.
I love to watch it when you type because it looks different than other typewriters. The way the type bars swing up and over and down. I just think it's cool to watch. You know.
That's the same with the Olivetti. I got it. It has also a geared mechanic.
Oh.
That's the same with the Remington here.
Oh.
And it's really a long way to move. They move. Really interesting. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and it types quite fine. I like it, and it's definitely a keeper. And so, yes, I don't know which American machine still is missing. Yes, I know one, but I'm not really looking for it. It's the old Smith Corona Electric. This is also very beautiful. The blue curvy one with these 2 wheels. I got a newer one, the 210, which types really nice, and it's enough now. It's really enough. And I'll have another one here, a machine just It costed me one bottle of wine. It's the total opposite. Just a second. Ah,
A bottle of wine.
yeah, it was. He wrote just to pick up, and I said, okay. And I don't want to. And I asked him, what do you prefer, a piece of chocolate or a bottle of wine? And he said, a bottle of wine was fine. So I bought him a good bottle of French wine. And it's a machine I was really looking a long time for it because I know it's a great machine. It's an Olympic report. Electric. It's really one of the last machines, I think. I'm not sure where it was built because they were built in Japan, in Netherlands, and in Germany. But today I started typing with it. It's really a long distance running machine. So you can type for hours with it. It is just fine to write. But of course, one thing is missing. The thing we all love on typewriters, what is missing is the soul. It's just an electric machine, but it works really fine. And I think it was really built for hard use in offices. And short after, then they came word processors or PCs or whatever. But it really had a really, really, really perfect keystroke, and the round thing, the rubber piece is quite soft again. How is it for
Platen, yeah.
Platen, that was what I
Platen.
was looking for. Sorry for my bad English. Yeah, that's quite fine. But really, I have to stop collecting machines. It starts really to get hardy. But okay, when for a bottle of wine, what shall I say? For this machine, it's just around the corner to pick up, so I can't refuse it. No way.
Yeah.
Then things that are a little bit smaller, I picked up. It's also very fine. Do you know these numbers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I found it on eBay, and so you can print. Well, I printed a lot of them already. The paper's gone. So you can print and print and print and print and print and print, and then you can print numbers,
Yep,
and
yep.
it counts always one more number and one more number. And you even can tell this machine by this ratchet here if it doesn't count, if it counts each pressing, or for example, if it keeps 3 times the same number. For example, if you have checks or something,
Oh,
or 3 times, 1 time, 3 times, 2 times, and 4 times. The same number will be printed, and then it switches. Quite interesting mechanic, I think. And the only problem is if you want to reset it, you really need a piece of wood and to reset it manually. You can't just press a button and it ratchets to 0. But it's from the German Democratic Republic, DDR, by Abeco. Really solid. You see, it's beautiful with wood. You can even buy these today, but then of course with plastic.
yeah.
And no one wants plastic. If you can have something beautiful like that. So
Yeah.
in the future, if someone will receive a letter or a postcard from me, be sure it will be officially numbered.
That's
We used to
excellent.
use those in the printing industry for numbering carbonless forms.
Ah, yes.
Remember jobs like that where you had to print all the forms and then paste them together and number them. Each
Yeah.
one had to have a sequential number. You had to, like the
Yes.
customer would tell you where the last number left off, and you had to set the
Yeah.
machine for that and then number sequentially from there.
You're
I remember
bringing,
those jobs.
You're
Yes.
bringing back nightmares of my brief stint in the working in a print shop. I think I told this story before, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it again. So there I was, a teenager. I think I was a senior in high school, and I had this what I thought was a perfect job in a print shop, and I thought I knew what I was doing because I was in a graphics technology class in school, but it's a very different beast. It works at a very different speed. And so I was put in charge of numbering these forms. We were given the number, like Ted was saying, we were given the number that the last set ended at. So when I was setting the number on the machine, I set it at the end of the last set of numbers, and yeah, it repeated their whole last set of numbers.
Okay.
So it was,
Yeah, they can
and then
easily be.
to teach me my lesson, my boss made me call the client and explain what happened, because they had the forms printed somewhere else and we were just numbering them.
Oh,
So
geez, not even your
yeah, it was
forms.
bad. It was bad. So
Not like you could just redo them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
everything again.
that was a nightmare though. But my once I graduated and went full time in the print shop, my job lasted 2 weeks. So
Okay. Overqualified.
well, yeah, it was. Oh boy. Well, it didn't help that my boss was a major jerk and he knew it. So yeah,
Got to be able to deal with really repetitive work.
yeah.
I had a boss that I was driving his truck, driving rental equipment, pulling a trailer on the freeway in California on Interstate 5, and I was speeding, and it was a brand new truck, a GMC Sierra, and I blew the head gasket on it. And so he, came out, towed it, and he said, "Okay, you got to rebuild the engine." So anyway, I learned how to get the heads planed and put it, I put a gasket in it. It came from the factory with just RTV sealant on it. And I got a gasket kit and was able to fix it, but it taught me a lesson. And it's like, you don't get away with just doing that and thinking that nothing's going to happen.
Yep.
I think these are lessons. I think every one of us has had some kind of these lessons.
Yeah.
And it's not fine to have them, but we need to have them. This
Yeah.
gives more experience than when everything just runs fine and nothing will happen. Well, it is like that. So what to say? I don't know. Shit happens is the right word, I think.
Yes, exactly. So your English is perfect.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and yesterday was at I think maybe 5 years ago. I was the last time I was. Yesterday I was at a flea market, and there's a lot of crap sold, and sometimes you find big boxes where really old, used or overused tools are to find. But I found these two things. I'm not sure if they are typewriter pieces to repair typewriters, but I bought them for 10 euros, so not very expensive. And I really have to do some research what they are for. There are no common tools, as you can see. I think this is something to cut from, for example, wires, or you can, I don't know.
That is a side liner that you've got in your hand.
This one?
Yeah. If you hold it up so we can see the.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stick the type bar in there, and that'll straighten the type bar.
Yeah.
Form the head of the type bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the other one is a peener.
This one?
Yes.
What can I do with it?
Like if you need to bend the long end of a type bar,
Okay.
you would stick that in the back of the type bar and peen it and expand the metal out a little bit so that the front of the type bar curves.
Okay.
So it's just called a peener.
Well, I think I have a machine which is not which you can use as a part machine, so can try it out. Interesting is there's a stamp marked here, but you can't see it very fine. Maybe you can see, and it looks like a circuit here, and there are 3 owls or owls. I don't know, these night birds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's Drusicki. Drusicki is a German company that made typewriter tools. Oh,
then I got really luck to find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just tell me how is the name of the company?
Drusicki. It's Drusike, I think.
Drusicki.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I can do some research on it. Great. Well, I was happy, and these were the only of them, though. Nothing more to find, but 10 euros, and then I have Good luck.
Yeah, those are very
Wow.
definitely typewriter tools.
Did you know they were typewriter tools, or did you just guess?
I just guessed them because I've seen on the internet from other friends they had or they were looking for it, or I've seen, and I really could think maybe about, yeah, they could be typewriter tools. If you would have said 50 euros, I would say no, but for 10
Right.
euros for both,
Yeah.
what will happen? Nothing. It's okay. So you can really see it's not a common tool and it's a bit special. And
Yeah.
so, well, sometimes we have to have luck. Well, that's
Definitely.
all from my questions. What else to tell you? Next week on the 2nd of May, I will be for 1 week in Slovenia for a study tour. So maybe let's see what I will find there or not. But I think we have no time for searching for typewriters. And so no, there's really nothing more to say. The only thing with these things, they need a special ink. They need oil-based ink. So I have to find out. I just improvised with normal ink, but that's not the right thing. It's water-based ink, and therefore you need, because these are metal and not rubber like normal. So I have to find them. And have I showed you already the stamp with the clock? No. Just give me a second.
Yeah. I've noticed the YouTube chat has been very, very quiet. I don't think someone's posted it in quite a while. I assume it's still working. Yeah.
No, sorry, man. Too much chaos on my desk, so I have to. I don't. I was just doing a lot of range tidying up and
Okay.
everything, and so everything is overcrowded with things, and so okay. Well, then nothing more to report. I don't know. It's interesting that I've repaired my bicycle today. New chain, new brakes, new whatever, but this is not typewriter related. But and one thing, it is typewriter related, because I think someone told it before. I think there's really something common with a bicycle and manual typewriters. I think it is something. It's a long-lasting thing, which is quite very sensible, very useful, and very relaxing, recreating, and so very good.
Excellent. Excellent.
Then nothing more to say. My ears are open, and so have a good time, everyone here,
Oh,
and see you
Hey,
next
Robert.
time.
Robert,
All right.
what's is Slovenia a lot different than Germany when you go to Slovenia? I mean, is that a big change, or I wouldn't have any idea. I've never even been to Europe, so.
Yes, definitely. So Slovenia belonged a long time before more to the former Yugoslavia. So it's southeast of Europe. It's really hard to describe. It's, of course, Europe is very on a really small area, very different in the way people act, people are. So when you compare a Frenchman with a German, or with an Italian, with a Scandinavian, or for example, South Europe with Croatia, Macedonia, or something. These are really quite big differences in the way of the kind of a character, their attitude, or something like that. But it's not easy to describe what makes it. That's my son. He'll soon be 20.
So they're very different even in the next room, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Here's again. He doesn't know that the whole world can see him now, but now
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
famous.
Yep. Yep.
But it's really not easy to describe. For example, which people of Europe you know by characters? What experience do you have, Larry?
Oh, well, not really a lot, I don't think, except the ones that I know that are here in the United States. You know, I mean, like Italians I've known to speak really fast and use their
Yes.
hands a lot. And Jewish people a lot of times use their hands a lot, but Italians tend to speak really fast. Maybe more of a fiery temper too, or something. You know, I would say that about Italians. Germans, I don't know. Germans seem more laid back than Italians. I don't, you know, they maybe.
No, I think
me, I mean, that's, you know, it doesn't
Yes,
mean anything.
it's really hard to describe, but Germany is really every country, and we are really small countries by the area, could be in the mentality totally different to the neighbor country. So, for example, when you say Italian is, they speak faster, but they are often very much more optimistic. For example, to Germans, often it's said, oh, they're a bit pessimistic, they're so serious, yeah. Or when you go to Denmark, Norway, Scandinavia, the more to the north you come in Europe, they are more a bit serious, a bit more calm, except the Finnish, because they all like heavy metal. But and then on the other hand, if you come more to the south, when you think about France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, they have seaside, that's more warm, they're often more flourishing, more happy, more relaxed, more not so serious, not so, oh, we have to do this, we have to do this, and just relax, have a coffee, have a wine, good eating, good living. That's more, but it's really very, with much cliche what I'm talking about.
Right.
So of course there is there are even funny, happy Norway people, and there are of course really serious and maybe calm Italians. Yeah, but in the just really overlook. Yeah, then you can give or think about the Irish people. They are really yeah, totally different, but even they're often very friendly. They like, of course, but it's really also not a prejudice. They like celebrating. They like having good beer, having music playing together, and are much more communicative than, for example, someone from Northern Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty interesting because, like in the U.S., we're kind of a young country, and so they're spread out all over. And so you go to different states, and yeah, their accents might be a little different. They might have a little bit of differences, but in Europe, I imagine there's people that have been settled there for hundreds of years in each place, and so then they might be quite a bit different in each place.
That is, of course, a big difference. Because of course the population in the US is historically seen very young, yeah, and many influences from all over the world came to the US, and of course then maybe you can compare, for example, as I've heard, many of the New York population, even especially the fire departments, are Irish, had an Irish background, so. But it's a kind of tradition, or if you have a nation, for example, the Netherlands is quite interesting in this, because the Netherlands, it's a seafarer nation. So they have from many hundred years before, they have interacted with other countries. Other countries here in Europe, they had been for themselves for many hundred years. And this brings also a special attitude in how to act, what kind of self-understanding you have.
Yeah, I lived in Brooklyn, New York for 5 years, and I was amazed at the different populations that still existed from when they first came to America. They went to their own neighborhoods, and you could still say, this is an Italian neighborhood, this is a German neighborhood, this is a Jewish
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a bit in Germany it is changing, or in Europe, and of course, it's very controversial discussion about immigration here in Europe. And for me, with my experiences I've worked with many people of many nations. For me, it's enriching the culture. I like it. It's okay to, in my class where I'm studying, we have two from Israel, we have one from Palestine, we have one from China. And it's really a great exchange and talking about, or now here Ramadan has ended and you were talking with Muslims, and that's interesting. You have just to open yourself, and then you get more out of it than when you just think, no, we don't want that.
Mhm. That's
Very
one of the
good.
best-
Course,
one of the best things I like about Type Pals is I talk to people like you from all over the world. I mean, I love talking to all of you, but I'm just saying it's so interesting to hear people from other countries because I haven't been to other countries except Mexico and Canada, you know, so.
yeah, that's a good word, Larry. That's it's the same reason I like to be here. That's it's very interesting. I haven't traveled far in my life. I've been in Europe in some countries, and once I've been with my father-in-law for 2 weeks in South Africa. But I've never been in Asia. I've never been to the US or Canada or New Zealand or Australia or Asia. Never been there. And to be honest, I'm not a travel person, so I don't have the urge to do this. One thing I think about is if I really had so much money and time and whatever, Iceland would be fine to visit for me. And what I really would be thinking about Canada, to visit Toronto. Not to visit Toronto, just to visit the grave of Glenn Gould. What's this?
Look at that.
Very cool. That's awesome, Sarah.
Wow.
Yeah. So nice. No, it's really, Larry, as you said before, or it's really for me, it doesn't matter if we're talking about typewriters or if we would talk about the sand on the beach. It's always nice to sit with you and talk and listen to you. That's really, really, really great for me.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, again, it's so good to see you, Robert.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as every time, it's good for me to be there. Thank you. And Gregory, I just can repeat it always. I like your kind of how you organize it, how you act it, how you organize now the postcard exchange. Please take care for you that it's not too much for you.
Yes.
And
yes.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
I appreciate that. Sample size likes your Vogue, Sarah. So
What is
on
sample size? What is that?
Sample size is someone on YouTube.
Oh,
it's just a comment on the screen there.
oh, thank you, sample size. It doesn't belong to me. I'm borrowing it from a friend. Yeah,
okay.
One of the people the collectors that I clean typewriters for took a trip to Spain with his wife and the Netherlands, and he let me borrow a bunch of really cool machines. And so I'm borrowing a Model A Royal Vogue right now, which is pretty fun. So let's quickly show one of these.
Ooh, let me zoom in on you. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's actually a Vogue.
Do you have to give it back?
Yeah, I do, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
I was afraid to even take it out of the case for the first 3 weeks because it's so special. It was just like there was this thing in my house.
Beautiful machine.
It's so special. Sorry?
It's a beautiful machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vogue in that body style is just
I know, delicious, right?
delicious.
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 It's what's for breakfast.
There you go.
Lunch and dinner.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I just thought it would be fun to make like a little because it reminds me of old films. So I thought I would make this little thing for you guys.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's cool.
And more.
Yeah. There are more people, but I couldn't remember their names all of a sudden because,
Oh.
me and my terrible memory. But yeah, starring Gregory Short, the poor typist, Bob Marshall, typewriter muse, the Reverend Ted Monk, Don at YYC. Let's see. I can't read these upside down. Brendan Rafferty. I probably spelled your name wrong. Sorry. And now I can't read it. Oh, Diane Mayer, aka Gary Seven. Robert Lehman, Larry Presnell, Sarah Van Ellen, Joe Van Cleef, in absentia, Brian Good, in absentia, Rich, whose name I don't know the last name of.
Oh,
sorry.
Close enough.
I noticed you spelled your name wrong and corrected it. And then I noticed there's 2 little dots after your name. Now, what's up with the 2 little dots after your name? Just one of them.
Oh, that's just because I used this as a backing sheet on another thing that I wrote.
Oh,
Those are just actually dots that it's not intentional. No, sorry. I do have a really long name. I have two middle names and then a last name that has two parts to it.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so if I were to add, if I were to get married again or something, I would have like,
You'd have one of those real
for the
hyphenated
DMV.
names.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
my daughter's name's Sarah, so I know how to spell Sarah. So I was interested that you misspelled it. I'm just teasing you. It's just a typo.
It's a typo. Yeah, I don't know how to spell my own name. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Gregory had a thing saying that he was asking how long, like what's your longest typing session or something? Was that Gregory's question?
Yes.
And well, mine is probably 10 hours because I worked as a transcriptionist doing 10-hour days. So,
Yeah.
I mean, aside from my occasional break, this week I worked mostly 8-hour days and a couple of 10-hour days, but it was pretty much typing all day long on a computer. If I had to do that on a typewriter, I think I would be having chronic pain. So, yeah. Anyway, that's
Excellent.
it. Oh, Gregory, how's your typewriter working?
Oh, the Sensi, the one that I showed last week.
Oh, I didn't know if you showed that. I didn't see that. Yeah,
Yes,
sent Gregory
I
a
showed it last
typewriter.
week. It does need a new bulb.
Oh
But yeah.
no. Do you want me to send
It's
you a
okay.
bulb? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I buy Sensi products all the time now. So yeah, that will be
Okay.
on my next order.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, if you want, just let me know. I'll send you some through Amazon or whatever.
Oh no. I got it.
Nothing
I-
worse than
I-
turning on something and then having it not work.
No, it's okay. I even just sitting there on my desk, it looks awesome. So thank you so much for it.
You're welcome. I thought it was cute. It's the cheapest typewriter I've ever sent anybody.
Yeah. And you got all the type bars working and everything, so it was perfect.
Oh, I'm so glad.
You just forgot the light bulb.
Oh man. Yeah, that's what happens when you drop ship stuff and you send through another.
Yeah,
card.
it didn't come directly from you, so
No, it didn't pass my 10-point inspection.
yeah. But it's very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Sarah.
Fun, cute. I'm glad. It's always
Yeah.
good to find something new that we haven't as a group discovered because there's so much typewriter ephemera. It's like, trying to be original is really tough. Oh,
Exactly.
I got a new bumper sticker for my car. Well, not a bumper sticker. I ended up putting it on my gas cap. Let's see if I can find a picture, but it's a typewriter. So
Oh.
yeah, sorry. Oh, here we go. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
It's a perfect size.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? So I won't
Wow.
be moving that in a crowd anytime soon.
Bonus point, Sarah, if you can name the typewriter and the model.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a Corona standard with the
Yeah,
three.
high fives. High fives.
Oh yeah.
Streamlined
Yeah,
body.
I just gifted one of those, so it's like the ghost of remembrance of that machine.
Oh.
It's okay. I just couldn't find any alternates that were like, good. It's hard to find typewriter stickers online or decals,
Put it on
Yeah.
the gas cap of a Tesla.
That would be a gas cap of the Tesla. That would be good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I told my kids it's like it makes it seem like I want to put ink in my gas tank or something.
Yeah.
Hey,
It goes here.
It'd be hard
Yeah,
to find a gas cap on a Tesla, wouldn't it?
I think
Yeah.
so. I think it would. It would be not a gas. Yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Looking for a
Captain
baseball
smart
pump.
people in our group, right? Everybody's too smart for us. Yeah, here's
Oh,
the
man.
other. I'll show you the other stuff I've got on my car here.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
What's the C stand for? Is it cool?
Yeah. No, it stands for county. I'm a county worker, so I have special privileges.
Oh,
Like I can park in all the
Oh.
county parking lots. Yeah.
can you drive
and
in the multi
I don't know.
the multi people lane with one person in the car?
Sorry, what?
Can you drive in the multi people lane, the high occupancy lane with one person?
No, Sean.
Okay, sorry, continue.
No,
Inquiring
can't do
mind
that.
wanting them.
Yeah, I have some other like good stickers on my car, but you can't really probably make them out. I've got the to collect and preserve, the Ted Monk one. And then I have, the Typewriter Chicago with the, guy. And then I've got University of American Samoa Law School, which is, as you know, if you watch, what is that show on HBO? Not Breaking Bad, but the other one, Better Call Saul. It's like a fake law school.
Oh,
where he got his
yeah.
degree. Like nobody goes there. Yeah.
Yes,
so I have
yes.
that on my I have that on my car. No
That's
one will
awesome.
get it except hardly anybody will get that joke. But I was hoping we could get a Typewriter Muse sticker designed. Do you have any stickers, Bob?
Yeah, I do. They're right here.
You were like my cat when she tries to meow and nothing comes out. She's like,
They're gold.
you
Send you an
cool.
old school typewriter sticker too. Just message me your address.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, Lucas Duel designed them for me, and anyways, I
wow.
put them out. Yeah, and then I only give one out to people because I put them on the machines when
Okay.
I'm done, and I don't put them on the backside. I usually let me think, like a Corona 6 I put under the carriage,
Okay.
but most of the time I put them under the hood. Just so if somebody
Yeah.
flips it up and thinks, oh, I need to replace the ribbon, they see it there, as opposed to, people who used to put the
Mhm.
their big shiny name
Sticker right on the front.
Yeah, no thanks. So
Exactly.
these are my golden stickers, golden seals of approval. Yeah, they work. I should go through the list and just kind of mail one to everyone. That'd be real nice of me. I need to
I'd like
get
that.
on that. Actually, I need to reorder some. Looks like I'm running low. I had a
It's
few
like
thousand.
Charlie. It's like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
He says, and you've got the gold.
Yeah, and
You
I
need to
got
send those
smaller.
out. You have to send those out with chocolate bars, Bob.
No, I'd probably eat all the chocolate bars first, but thanks.
Aw, darn it.
Yeah, I've got the smaller stickers too. You can see they're real small. They're like the size of my thumbnail.
Oh,
I've
cute.
got a
Oh,
lot
wow.
of those. And
Oh, that's
these
cute.
I put in specific places on the machine just
Uh-huh.
so I know that I've worked on them. And believe it or not, I stamp most of the machines I work on. I have I have a stamp with the letter M and a circle, and I'll usually put it next to the serial number if I can safely. Sometimes I can't. But anyways, that way I know that I've worked on it. And so I can hide these stickers in the machine that know that I've worked on it. And then I can put these under it. I put these in the cases as well. When you flop
Wow.
open the case, people
You've
can
got
see 'em.
so many good systems in place, Bob. I'm really admiring your organization and just the ways that
Oh.
you keep track of all your machines. That's so great.
Well, you're very kind, and you're right. It's a lot. And we have, with any system, it's got to serve you, and how does it make sense? And it's not that we're dumb. It's not that it's just how do we spend the least amount of brain power to do what we need to do?
Yeah.
Our big theme the last 6 months has been to use bento boxes. Bento just meaning mini, and they're not. And what they end up looking like is they end up looking like this. This for the machine I'm working on now. Any extra parts for the machine goes in this clear tote, and then the tote has a number, and that number corresponds with this machine. And so what we end up doing is the totes get stored way over here when the machine's over here. So the machine and its parts could be 20 feet apart, and that's okay, So we got the bento boxes, and then if we do have a machine that is small enough, we'll put it in a larger tote, and then we end up putting like paper between the machines and the body panels, whatever, not manila folders. So you end up with like typewriter in the manila folder, body in the manila folder, bottom, if it's like a Hermes 3K, like that's in the manila. So and then the cases, of course, are way back there on the case bench, whatever. So we end up with machines going everywhere, or parts for the machines going everywhere. And then how do we get them back together? That way we're not constantly, if I sit down to turn platens, like I said, or like cleaning them, I'll do a handful of them at a time. So if we can keep up with a handful of everything at a time. But the bento boxes have been a huge thing. And everything has a number, and then that number has a label or a name as well as make. So that's been fun. And a lot of times, the other thing I do is I always take my clipboards and they're always backwards. This is what you see on my clipboard. This is what it actually looks like. But this way you don't see who my customers are.
Oh, okay.
That makes
Privacy.
sense. So all my clipboards are always backwards. That way I don't ever, if I take pictures of anything.
I mean,
no one can see what
so
what
many good
customers are
details.
what.
Yeah.
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 We have to do that just because we have
Mhm.
so much going on.
Yeah.
Right now, we probably have almost 30 machines that need my attention.
Right.
I've got a rack of platens here.
Mhm.
I actually have a stand. I could probably show it to you if if I'm not boring you guys, but
Heck
most of
no.
it-
I mean, like my dream would be to run a typewriter shop someday. So I always love to learn anything that, you guys have to share about that.
Yeah,
It's a
well,
total pipe. Yeah.
this is like my platen rack. It's just hang on, let me get a clean hand.
Did you
here.
drill holes in that, Bob?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right. It's a heavy piece of oak, right? It's super. This piece probably weighs 5-6 pounds, believe it or not. And I actually cut a hole out of it. I had to build a handle for a Hermes baby, like the green handle. So I built that out of this piece of oak. So then I had this. So anyways, we just pop the platens in here when they're ready to go after they've dried and been treated. These platens have just been, resurfaced. They're the blue, right? So I know, like, I've got several Smith Coronas that need that. So it just sits over here and waits to be put in, right? Like I said, line work. It just makes it easier. That way we're not missing anything. But anyways, yeah, no, we have 1,000 fun, small little things like that we've had to come up with to serve us. Otherwise, it'd just be way too crazy. Where's this? Where's that? What's this look like? But, I can't remember 20 machines, what their cases look like or what, so labeling's a big thing. We use a color system to tell what the machine is. So we have colored dots on everything, whatever. Thanks for noticing. We're having a fun time.
Oh, it looks like Sarah just lost power. I wondered where she disappeared to, but yeah, they just lost their power. But
no, I think I just bored her, and so she.
Oh, you're like, I'm getting out of here.
As usual, I've bored a woman, and she's ran away from me. You can't
Even if
blame her.
Sarah was bored, she would never ever say that, and I truly don't think she ever would be bored. She
Oh,
just.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
gotten up to stop and meet her yet, but I need to someday. That would be a lot of fun. I need to travel
Excellent.
more. Just been having too much fun, building a business, right? You just keep building.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I'm glad we got to speak to Sarah, before the power outage. So that was good timing. Brendan, how are you?
I'm great. I'm really good.
Excellent, excellent.
I'm just preparing for my typewriter event next week, the typewriter takeover at the local brewery.
Oh, yes.
And then I just got the go ahead that I'm going to be presenting Margaret Atwood with a typewriter on May 7th.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm feverishly working on this 1939 Corona Zephyr, because that's the year she was born. So and my artist friend Dave is going to do some artwork on it, and then we're going to present it to her. But she has donated. She's doing a talk at the university, and for the Vancouver Writers Festival. So she's donating all the money from that to the Vancouver Writers Festival, and then she's gonna donate this typewriter to the Vancouver Writers Festival to auction it off to raise money for the Vancouver Writers Festival.
Oh, wow.
So so it's Corona Zephyr here. They're so basically simple, but I've got a couple little weird issues that I'm just trying to figure out. It's nerve-wracking when you only have one of them and you have to have it handing it off to her in 2 weeks. So I'm gotta get everything working properly. I mean, these weren't built like tanks by any means. They're pretty flimsy, it's I'm amazed at how simplistic it is, but it wasn't meant to write much other than a grocery list on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's exciting. So I just got that message 2 days ago that I'm got to get it ready for Margaret Atwood, which is pretty exciting because she's
Yeah.
very
Very
has
exciting.
a history. You know, she's 83 or 84, and she's been writing since she was young and has a million things under her belt. So yeah, so that's exciting. And then my typewriter event, Dirk Plant is coming over next week to help me out with that event. And we have it's a fundraiser for the Terry Fox Foundation. He was a famous Canadian that ran across the country, or started to, in 1980. He ran a marathon a day with one leg. He like
Wow.
for I think he got a month and a half in or something before the cancer came back and he passed away from it.
Oh.
So his that was in 1980, and his brother is going to be at the event. We did Dave Benning, my artist friend, painted an Eaton's Prestige. Which is a Smith Corona Super rebrand with the 1959, which was the year he was born, and where we presented it to the Terry Fox Foundation. So that machine's going to be there, and Terry Fox's brother's going to be there, and we're trying to get him to bring Rick Hansen, who was another famous Canadian who wheeled around the world on a wheelchair back in the 80s, I think. Yeah, 80s. So he's we're trying to get him there. But yeah,
Wow.
it's going to be a fun event. I extended it an hour, so it's 3 hours at this local brewery. Really putting all my typewriters, but most of the ones that I've restored on tables for people to use. We're going to display all the painted ones that Dave's painted, raise some money, and just have people come out and type. It's a bravery theme, so people can type a note to whoever that was brave, or to a note to themselves about being brave, or a past thing about being brave. So yeah, and that's about it. Didn't buy any this week, or did I? I might have bought one, and I just have to go pick it up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's funny. I buy some, on Marketplace, and they're 4-hour drive away, and I'm like, oh, I'll come by in a couple months, and is that okay? I do that quite a bit, where I'm like,
Wow.
hey, do you need it out of the house? It's probably been in your house for the last 20 years. Is another 4 months okay? And so, and generally they say, sure. And I'm like, I'll be driving through one day. But I got another call from somebody. They messaged me and said their father was, I might have mentioned this earlier. Their father was a typewriter mechanic, and he passed away, and they have a house full of typewriters, and they're actually selling the house in May, and they're gonna bring me all of a house full of typewriters and his
Wow.
tools, which I don't know what that means. Does that mean 5 or 50? Like, I just don't know. So
That's
I'm
true.
excited, but I guess he had a bunch of old ones, and they have parts. I guess they said they have tools, and they just want to hand them off to me and see them used again. So that's exciting. And then that's really exciting. And then
Very exciting.
Then in May, I'm also going over to Vancouver Island, where there's another guy who used to work at a typewriter shop that closed in the 90s. And he's stored away a whole bunch of parts that I'm going to be picking up. So I'll be trying to figure out a way to fit all that stuff in here.
You can do it.
I know I can do it. I'll sell my wife's car and have space over there. I might have said that too loud. No, it's good. Everything's great. I'm just trying to get this Zephyr to get working.
Yeah, yeah.
It works generally. There's a couple sticky keys, taking the keys out, and a couple of them are bent in the segments, so it's just
Oh,
it's smoothing them down, making them move, see where the wear is, adjusting. But yeah, I want it working. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. That's about all I got this week.
very cool. Thank you so much, Brendan. Diane, how are you doing? Diane? She gave me the finger. Uh, she's occupied.
Yeah, I was putting my stamps away.
Oh, okay, okay. That's pretty important.
Yeah, I was stamping a letter.
Ah, got
Real
it.
important, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Hi. Yeah.
How
I'm
are
doing
you? How
fine.
are you?
I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent. Anything new with you?
Well, yeah, I had a typewriter sighting.
Ooh, we like sightings. Let me zoom
It
in
is
on
a
here.
Tom Hanks typewriter, and you know how it is with these dang screens. You can't see squat, but
Yeah.
well, yeah, whenever I turn it this way, it goes to hell in a handbasket. But
Yeah.
basically, it's oh, there it is. You can
There you
see a
go.
signature.
Oh, wow.
And it's an Antares Parva, maybe that.
Oh, yeah.
The stupid phone will not. That's what I hate about these things. Anyway, so yeah, there it is. It was sent.
Cool.
Tom sent it to the local typewriter repair shop just out of the blue.
Wow.
Yeah, well, anyway. Yeah, I'm having trouble with technology today. I'm ready to chuck the dang phone. And anyway,
Oh, don't do that.
anyway, and yeah, he's
Now, did you see that typewriter in person, or they just sent
Yeah, I
the
did.
picture to you? Oh, okay.
No, I was there last week, and it's like they had it on display along with the little
Oh,
the Pantone or Playtone is you can't, yeah, again, you can't really see the towel very well, but it says Playtone down here. That's Tom Hanks's.
oh, yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's real awkward. But anyway, so yeah, they sent that with a letter that said, you know, display or sell or, you know, whatever. And but yeah, it was kind of nice. They were trying to figure out where to send a thank you note.
Wow.
So
That is
anyway, yeah,
awesome.
that was kind of neat.
He's got his address online. It's a PO box in Santa Monica. That's where he sent the mail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So there, yeah, you can look online. There's a PO box.
I've tried to send
should
it
be a
to a
return
PO
address on the
box. I
package as
never got
well.
anything back, so I kind of hate to tell them that.
Oh, well, that's yeah.
Can you post it in the chat and I could give it to them?
You mean you want me to Google it or?
Yeah, I mean it sounds like you're at least familiar with what it is. I mean, you know, I could search and come up with who knows what, and I wouldn't know if it was right, to be honest.
I'm on it.
Cool.
Excellent, excellent.
Because at least you might, like I said, at least you'd be familiar with, is this the right address? Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried looking up his address. It's been pre-pandemic now, but I don't know if I got the right one or not. So
yeah, no, it's PO Box 7340.
I wonder how many people send him typewriters. I wonder if it's just like a wave of typewriters.
sure it is. But yeah, if you could post that in the chat, I'll make a note and I'll let them know where to send the thank you note.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Passing on.
nothing else new at the moment. I'm still watching the auction that I was watching last week.
Oh,
Since everybody was trying to spend my money for me last week, so
oh. Very
so
cool.
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Bob is entering the information there in the chat, so stay tuned for that.
Oh,
PO Box 7340. Yeah, very cool. Well, Diane, it's so good to see you. Oh, she's busy writing it down.
yeah, I'm writing now. Well, it's good to see you too, Gregory.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did not write anything for the typing prompts. I guess I'm not really in the habit of checking out where they are anymore, to be honest.
It's just under the events. If you go to typepals.com and go to the events page, they're listed there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. It's just like a fallback topic for us. So yeah, so PO Box 7340, Santa Monica, California 90406. Thank you so much, Bob.
Okay.
No worries.
Who
Yeah,
who
not a
is
problem.
who is sample size?
I'm
Do we know?
not sure.
I mean, obviously it's somebody who's aware. So
They're from Ireland, they said.
what?
They said they're from Ireland.
Oh, maybe
Oh.
that. Well,
Huh. Interesting.
I'll say Anthony is from Ireland. When he's shaking his head.
Oh, I think sample size may have been saying Ireland is in the house when Anthony joined the live stream. I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay. I was
Okay,
like,
there we
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am the sole representative of Ireland, apparently.
Uh,
What
and
an
A lot of weight on your shoulders. A lot of
I
weight.
know,
On your
huh? You do your country proud.
Oh, thanks.
But
As you do yours.
Oh,
I try
thank
to
you.
imitate your look though, Anthony. So, I'm trying to do my part.
Wait, who is
Yeah.
this guy in the dark who looks like
I
Owen?
know, huh? It's kind of creepy.
Hi, Larry.
Well, there's a reason for it. It's because the lights are really bright in here and I'm expecting my wife home any minute. And when you open it up, you can see in the garage really well and bugs can fly in and people can look in and this is my space. And so I just shut the lights off. I hope to anyway. Sometimes I've
all
missed
I heard there was you explaining that you're hiding from your wife.
No, she'll see me when she comes in. No doubt she'll see me. No, I mean, this door opens out on the street and, people out on the street or
Yeah.
whatever. And I have a fast moving door and I try to keep it closed and,
Yeah.
and then the bugs and all that too, want to come in when they, the lights are on, they see the
If
lights.
they see the lights, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
as for the typing prompt, the longest I've typed is like 20 pages in one sitting.
Wow. Wow. That's pretty good. I'm nowhere near
Yeah.
that.
Was it a constant thing? No, there was some pauses because I was copying something off of my iPad, so it's like I had to like scroll the iPad and make sure it
Yeah.
was sitting right before I continued typing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was just copying something I had previously typed electronically just for the hell of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Well, it's so good to see you, Diane, again. Let's see. Rich, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hope
Excellent.
y'all are okay. Nice to be back.
Yeah.
Start with the typing question. I really don't know the answer to that because a big chunk of my history had a typewriter on my desk at work, and
Oh,
So I was constantly going back and forth from desk work to people work to typewriter work. And
Yeah.
so, you know, mostly all day at work. And also all my early college stuff was done pre-computer kind of stuff. So it was all typewritten papers and stuff like that.
Okay.
How long those were.
Yeah.
But other than that, I kind of had a lapse in looking for typewriters because I'm trying to repair some that I've got, and you know the line was stacking up, and it's unfortunate because I've had a couple of failures that I have to kind of get back to, and I just get to a frustration point where I say, well, let's look at this one for now, and then that one gets the same. And the last one I was working on is something I had really high hopes for. It's a Corona 4, which I thought was coming in a working condition, but it had a couple problems. One was that the S, whenever you hit the S, you get an extra space, and then when you hit the period on the other side, it wouldn't hit hard enough. And then the T above it a little bit was sticking, and so I had to clean that out. So those are the two major problems, which turned out I fixed first the S and the period first. Those keys were coming down on the bars of the space bar underneath. So whenever you hit this S key, it would also depress the space bar and you get an extra space. So that was fairly easy just to bend back in place. And then that's the other side, the other piece of metal that holds the space bar on was underneath the period. And the period wasn't hitting it hard enough to make a space, but it was hitting it enough not to let it depress fully. So once I fixed that, I was, you know, king for the day. Hey, solved it, you know. So so then I had to try and fix the S or the T that was sticking, and I cleaned it, and it started working again, but then stopped, got frozen up again. So had to take it apart and try and get from as many angles as I could. And then it started to free up. And so I'm thinking, good, I'm making some progress. I can use this machine again. Closed it back up. And then not only did it start sticking again, but the T above it, or the 5 above it was sticking. And so now I made it worse by trying to fix the sticky T. Now the 5 is also sticking. So so I put it back I took it back apart, tried to clean it some more, and I couldn't solve it. I guess I'm going to have to get deeper in there. So I got a can of some air. I'm going to try that next. But when I put it back together, now there's another problem. The space bar doesn't work. So now I used to at least be able to type and have to pull the T down. Now I can't type at all because it doesn't advance. and the T sticks and the 5 sticks. And so it's like it's gone from major victory with the S and the period to utter defeat. And I gotta get back to it and dig it apart. So that's kind of like had my frustrations peak there, and I don't need any more broken typewriters. Because once I fix this, I got to go back and fix some others, and I just don't have that kind of time. So that's I did. I'm behind on some letters, but I did mail one off to a neighbor of ours has a kid. He's not a kid anymore; he's 30 something. But he grew up here, so you know he's one of the kids in the neighborhood. Well, he's gone off to the army, and his mom asked if I would write a letter to him because he was in. Yeah. So I wrote a letter, but I typed it, obviously with a typewriter, which is kind of probably unexpected, you know, from him to receive a typewritten letter. And I did it on some 1940s Army stationery, and then you know, used a military kind of stamp and all that, and use my rank and name and everything.
Wow.
So he's getting this letter from some lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
All those guys over there in boot camp were saying, holy shit, you know. Yes. So, But anyway, his mom told me that he really thrilled on that. So that was
Aw.
kind of fun.
Those are the kinds of things you keep forever, you know, like an email's just gone. And that's
Right.
something that, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're right. And that's why I chose to, kind of do it in a unique way. So he graduated from boot camp and has moved on to his next training session. Oh, it's glad.
Wow.
Robert, I don't know if you're still listening. Yeah, there was, you mentioned some time ago, maybe a couple months now, that you had a Privileg typewriter that you didn't like. And I don't know, I was curious as to why you had that perception or that negative thoughts on it. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it's a Privileg script machine. Also it writes in script, and it's really compared, for example, with the Olympia or with an Adler. It's not a good typing. It doesn't feel well. It's not sophisticated, engineered, or it's not satisfying to write with it. It works. It's okay, but it's not beautiful to type on it. It feels wobbly, or you have to really lose a lot of force to type, and everything is plastic. That's the problem.
So I have a contrasting perception. I have two of them, and the one that I'm using is not the Techno font; it's the normal font. But they work. I like. I mean, they're very clean. They're because they're, I think, from the 70s. But and like you said, it is plastic, but it's almost like a rubbery plastic. I mean, it's plastic, obviously, but it has a nice. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying at all. It just feels different than some other plastics. So
give me 5 seconds, and I get my one, and I can show you my one.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
okay.
Continue, and then I'll be back soon.
Yeah. Okay. And then I had a couple others. I had a Remington Quiet Tab Deluxe that I had hopes for, and it's having some problems, and a Quiet Writer Miracle Tab that is having some kind of problems. So I've gotten a series of unexpected difficulties with some typewriters that I have to conquer.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the typewriter world.
Oh yeah. Well, I do feel your frustration.
That's what I live for. I live for that kind of thing. I love the challenges. I love, I mean, if it works perfectly, for me, it's like, that's no fun.
Well, see, the problem with that, I like fixing it. I enjoy doing the fixing, but when you can't fix it and you have other stuff to do, it's like, I don't have time for this, and I want to use it,
Yeah.
I want to get past the frustration part and get on to typing with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I really want to encourage my typewriters, and I don't even know where to start, except maybe with the ones that don't type. But I don't know. I really want to get this Corona 4 working, because it's in such good shape.
Rich, you can always send that to me. I love Corona 4s, and I've worked on a lot of them, so I'll help you out.
Yeah, Sean's the guy.
Yeah, that's an idea. Ship it. And my free write, my Hemming write crashed.
Oh no.
So and it's been a couple months. It just kind of froze on me, and then when I tried to reboot it, it wouldn't do it, and the screen froze. And I sent them an email, and they gave me an address and said, for $50 we'll diagnostic it for you. And then this was his email, and then or her email. She said, and if we can fix it, we'll assess the charges for that. So I have a couple problems with that. First off, I love the tool. And I love the aesthetic of it, which is really the main reason I bought it. And but it's overpriced, and I knew that going in. It's really overpriced, and even for a tool, it's overpriced. But for a tool that does so little, it's extremely overpriced. And so I'm going to pay $50 for a diagnostic, and if they can fix it, they're going to tell me how much. okay, my car goes bad, you got to pay the mechanic, right? But this shouldn't be that complicated because it's very simple. It should be a simple operating system. Should be. So I'm going to send it back. I don't know what that'll cost, but and see what happens with that, and just airing out a frustration that I've got.
Yeah. How long did you have it?
I think in 2021, maybe. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't think it was last year, it was the year before.
Oh.
So I've got a lot of use at it. And actually, for what it's supposed to do, it does it very well. And that's, in fact, I've typed some stuff with it that the advantage is when you type on it, you can send it to your email address in either a PDF or a text. And then you can pull it down on your computer and do your editing there. And it saves you a lot of work of having to retype it. And so from the, and plus it saves it, even if you don't edit it, you've still got it in a digital form, and you can print it if you want it in a hard copy. But so there's still some pluses. My beef isn't with what it can do, it's how simple it is versus the price. And that's really where my main gripe is. But I knew that going in, so I'm not blaming them. I took that challenge.
Yeah.
Robert, you're typing on a Privilege now?
Yes, I'm just typing on the Privilege. So here it is. It's a 270S.
Yeah, mine's a T and a 2. I have the 270 and the 270T. So the S is for script.
That's it, exactly. And the T is with tabulator. And you see, it's very light. So you can it can fly very fast, very far if you throw it. And I was just typing.
Can you reach Austria?
Typing some lines. So here you can see the typeface.
Ooh, nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. That's quite okay. But I was just writing, I couldn't imagine to write a novel with it.
Because of the keystrokes?
Yeah, it's not funny though. For example, when you do touch typing, your pinky will really suffer. And so for just a greeting card, it's okay. For maybe if you, the one I had bought, it was for a restaurant and they made their menus with it. Therefore, it's okay. Or for example, when you will write greetings for wedding or something, then this machine might be okay. But as I said, I wouldn't write longer letters. On the other hand, just let me take a look if you can see it. Sometimes it's really difficult when you see this word here. Please, wait, gotta find my camera. No, this one here. So if you see, I've wrote here, it works, and the R is very hard to take a difference between the N, for example.
Oh yeah.
So you could read this here. Wait, where's my finger? This could also be read as bonks, yeah, but it means works, yeah. So and here, yeah, it looks like henne, and the N, for example, here it's isolated not. It's better to see, but it's okay. Yeah, I just give me a second. I think I have something here. Yeah. For example, we made with the script machine this was for the church for someone. So this one was made with script, and this on a little beautiful paper. This looks quite fine. It's just an example. It's not perfect. These are things you can do with it, but well, I haven't had another script machine. I got two 270s and another one, but it's stored. It's even worse. This one is my best script machine for typing. The other one I have is older and more worn out. This is quite okay. And then I have one, I think it's a 300 or something. There even the problem is you have to take off the cover because you can't use the space bar. You will always hit your thumb on the frame, though it's a bad construction. Yeah. So as I would say, if you get here in Germany, sometimes you find them for quite for 20, 40 euros, but I wouldn't pay more for it because it's really not worth. It's not a good typer. Really.
I think mine, I've got, like I said, two of them, and I don't think I paid more than 15 euros each.
Yeah, you
They're-
shouldn't.
They're really
Okay,
cheap.
if you really want a script machine, so maybe you could pay for 50 or 60 euros. I'm quite, how to say, when I see on the Facebook typewriter group in America, I think it's more common to have script machines because here, this is nearly the only script machine I've found. I haven't never seen here in Germany an Olympia or something, and often I see, or even a Hermes. And in the Facebook group, you really read often in the US that someone finds a Hermes in cursive, or I think Susan has many machines in cursive or in script, but this is nearly the only machine you can find here.
So your script, actually, when I look at it, when you're showing it, it doesn't strike me as a clash between the R and the N, because your mind naturally fills in words that
Yes,
others are
sure,
missing.
sure.
So you don't even really notice that there's some kind of too much of a similarity, unless you don't know the word you're trying to make
Or
out.
when you really focus on that problem, then it can may be distracting. Yes.
And the other thing is the keyboard it works extremely well. It flows, it moves. I guess I'm not trying to say they're the best typewriter in the world, but I'm saying that it's not a problem for the two that I have. They work well. There's only one idiosyncrasy that I would fix on that, and that's that the keys are slightly slanted towards the forward.
Yes.
Oh,
And so, I mean, it's, yeah, exactly. And so I just have to make sure that I'm cognizant of that. And then as I start typing, I forget.
Profile, what? Gregory, could you enhance it?
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell that the slope is,
Yeah,
yeah, it looks weird.
yeah.
it's a bit falling back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you type with it lower, more closer to like your belt or something, as opposed to up high by your shoulders, it's easier if it's down than if you're typing up. And then you don't notice. So maybe that's the ergonomic consideration they were trying to make when they decided on that angle. But like I said, they're really, really cheap, and I haven't had a problem with either of the two that I've got. So just a contrasting opinion.
Yeah, it's a tool. I would say it's a tool. It works. It's not a typewriter to hate. That's not true. I have a Robotron machine. This is really crap. Yeah, it's but it maybe also might be very worn out. So heavy used. I think that's of course a problem with these machines. If they are not much used, they might maybe still precise, but they can't stand hard usage, maybe compared to an Olympia or Smith Corona or whatever. They're not built for that.
Yeah, that might seem, I might agree with that, although I haven't really put it to test. I think they're from Hungary, aren't they?
I don't know, maybe here it's written, this is marked as Quelle, and Quelle was wait, you can see. So it's
Yeah.
only the seller, Quelle and Neckermann were both big companies where you could order things, the kind of like Amazon in the 70s, 60s. You get a catalog like that, and yet then you can choose whatever you want, clothes, typewriters, shoes, tools, or whatever, and then they
It's
send it
not
to
the
you.
manufacturer.
But I don't know if it may, probably many of these machines were built by Brilliant or named Brilliant and were built in the German Democratic Republic. But I don't know really exactly where this one would be. Probably possible that it could have been made in Hungary, or I don't know. There's even nothing to see. The serial number is even just a label. No, it's printed on the rails. Very high number.
There was an article I found online, and they were saying that it came from a country, and I just noticed that because I was in Germany, that it wasn't from Germany. And I think, if I recall, it was Hungary, one of the Eastern Bloc kind of countries.
Could be, because of course the labor was much cheaper there than here, and so they even want to make some wins, some margins. No, I can't tell you really. I don't think, for example, many other companies, they used Japanese machines, the Nakajima or whatever, but this one not. I can't find anything. The frame is cast alloy as far as I see, even a bit, and the rest is
That color is a bit odd too. At first, it's like, well, that's kind of wonky, but then it kind of grows on you, and then you.
This one here, yeah, it looks like caramels or something like it.
Yeah, mine's a little more mustardy, and
okay, yeah, okay.
And I don't know if it's coming through on your video, the same, but yeah, and then you kind of get tired of it, but then you get back to, hey, that actually is kind of cool. Blends with part of my vibe, so kind of weird. And then isn't that a weird thing? Because we pick these things because of their colors. You know,
Yes.
I need to have a blue one, or I need to have a green one.
I have an Olympia Traveler. I bought it just because it has a beautiful green. So,
See?
yeah, but I think that's our problem in collecting. So some things are attracting us, and so we have to have it. For example, some people are collecting globes with the world behind, and
yeah, that's true. There's all kinds of things to get stuck on for collecting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and maybe it's also the same with individual. Someone likes more heavy touch, someone likes more lighter touch. Someone likes more the keys a bit tighter, others like it a bit more wider. They're very individual. But as I've said, the privilege wouldn't be my typewriter for the island.
Yeah.
No, you're right about that. But if it was there, I wouldn't kick it off the island. But yeah, I wouldn't care.
Yeah. But okay, as I said, it was a fair price, so I can't complain. And I think every collection, if possible, should have a script or a cursive machine. It's just fun and beautiful to write something in another script typeface, but it's not a must, of course. And I never would pay 100 or 200 or how many euros or dollars just to have a script machine. So that's not necessary.
Yeah.
So I guess it all depends on whether you like it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. And of course, we have I think every one of us has a little price limit where he says, okay, that's the price I will pay for a machine, and that's beyond it. So here's just a Smith Corona Electrics, as I told before, is here on sale. And I asked the seller because he didn't set a price, and I made an offer, and he just said, are you kidding me? And I said, no, okay, we never will get together, so leave it. Yeah, just it's not so that we are lacking of good typewriters, so I don't need to buy every machine.
Yeah, where would you put them?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I would think that for having a script machine, the best use I can think, I mean, I use my script machine once in a while, but I not really very often, but if I was street busking poetry, I would think that would go over pretty well. People would say, wow, that's really cool. You know, that's only one, that's the only reason I could think of really, you know, that.
Yeah.
Definitely, this is a reason. Or as I said, if someone is is marrying for a wedding to write something or to place this machine on a table where the people can write their best wishes with it, it's much more beautiful with that. But then I would cover the machine a bit, decorate the machine, but it's not so beautiful. And I was really thinking about, but I'm not the biggest mechanic, so I won't. Thinking about changing using the type slugs for another machine or something like that, but that's a hard operation. I won't do it. I wouldn't do it. That's for freaks.
Big leagues. That's the big leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not me.
Well, Rich, was there anything else new with you?
No, except I had a big malfunction at my gig last night. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What happened?
Electronics, but well, my stomp box wouldn't output, and I realized it had to do with the volume pedal, but by then it had just rained here. It's humid, and my guitar wouldn't tune, so I had to swap guitars on the fly and couldn't get the sound out of my amp because I had no stomp box. I'm going raw out of the amp. I think I realized that I just need to break it down, start all over. I put it all back together between two songs and got it working. So
Wow.
I don't know. It's just I would say that was probably my worst experience performing, even though it may have been moderately transparent, because if you don't know what we're supposed to sound like, you don't know what you didn't hear.
Exactly.
I know that it wasn't what I had crafted, and that was a frustration. But
Oh,
anyway,
boy.
that's not typewriter related.
Yeah, but
But still.
it's interesting. I've seen yesterday I saw some things like that. And in my past few gigs, I've seen some people have problems, whether it was connection problems or broken strings or whatever, but and switching up and having problems. But I'm kind of stuck with my acoustic and the mic. And, I may or may not plug it in, depend on whether I'm close to a bunch of people inside or not. I may not even plug my guitar in. And sometimes it makes me think, see, that's why I'm glad that I'm not using any pedals or anything, And so sometimes it makes me very happy that I'm not, because I see that happen to people. I'm like, oh my God. I mean,
Well,
I don't have a crew that can switch things out real quick, so.
You got to wear wings if you want to fly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent.
No, I mean, it's cool when it works, and it's just
Yep.
technology something though. I mean, not that it's even new technology, but there's a lot that can go wrong when you're using a lot of stuff.
Yep, definitely.
It's
All
all
right.
good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's so good to see you, Rich.
Thank you. Yes, good to be here.
Excellent. Anthony from Ireland.
Hello there.
How are you?
Top of the morning to you.
Yeah.
We actually don't say that in Ireland. Nobody says that ever.
Oh, how do you take it back now? I just heard you say it. Now you gotta take it back. You say it backwards.
I know. Right? Yeah.
That's funny.
It sounded good though. I must admit,
Yep.
it sounded good. It sounded like a commercial or something.
Lucky
Yeah,
Charms.
that's the right accent.
Yeah, Lucky Charms. That's right. You always have to me Lucky Charms.
So what's new in your world, Anthony?
Not a whole lot. Typewriter.
Okay.
No acquisitions. There haven't been acquisitions for ages. I haven't got
Now,
the
is
room.
okay. I was gonna say, is that because you're not looking, or you're just not finding anything?
I'm constantly looking, and I don't know why, because I see things, and I want things, and then I realize I can't have things unless I store them outside or put them in a shed where they get damp and rusty, and I don't know if any of you follow the Magic Typer on Instagram, but he restored an Olivetti Lexicon 80 and he resprayed it in red. It looks fabulous. It's a beast.
Wow.
Hang on, I'll paste in the link in the chat so everybody can have a look. Yeah, it looks nice, I have to say. I mean, if I had lots of cash and a big typewriter storage room, I'd be straight on it. It looks fantastic. So no, but still typing regularly, using typewriters. Not maybe every day, but every second day, certainly.
Very cool.
Still writing my next book in fits and starts. I actually have reached 110,000 words there, so making progress slowly but surely. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there is red lexicon.
Wow.
I've never never used one, but I believe they're heavy beasts. That's a standard, isn't it?
Wow.
I mean, it looks like a
It
standard.
looks like it.
Yeah, I think the lexicon is a standard.
Yeah. Tron is shaking his head, yep. Or nodding his head, yes.
Yeah. Looks like the sort of thing that would go forever.
Yeah, yeah. It's very bulbous looking.
It's a
Fire
it's
truck.
a slightly unusual standard.
Yeah.
Curvaceous. It probably came out of a design lab from 1950s. That'd be right.
Yeah.
Late 50s, early 60s, but it reminds me of somebody who's got a receding hairline and they've got a very large forehead.
Richard Holt used it to type his manifesto.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Brilliant.
Very cool.
It doesn't say whether it's elite. No, it's Pica, is it? I'm just trying to get. There's a couple of images. There's one or two. No, there's one image. Dalai Lama quote.
Lexicon 80.
That's Pica, isn't it? Yeah. So, but that gentleman, the magic typer, he is a big fish in a small pond now, because in the past week I've been told that the typewriter shop in Dublin, which I believe is Ireland's only typewriter shop, is
Wow.
about to close.
Oh no.
Because the owner is retiring. There was a lady inquiring on the Typewriters Ireland Facebook group about where do I go to get a typewriter repaired, and I suggested several alternatives, including our friend the Magic Typer. But I said there's the typewriter shop and referred her to the website, but she came back and said, unfortunately, no, they're closing down because the owner is retiring.
Oh.
So, there is one other typewriter repair / restorer in Dublin, I believe. But as I said before, the market here is tiny.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't think I know anybody who
There's
writes.
another Anthony. There's another guy on Instagram, Typewriters Ireland. Do you follow him?
I follow a lot of Typewriters Ireland. I probably do. Let me just quickly have a look. That might be the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you know what his personal name is? No.
Yeah, I do. I'll look. Sorry, I can't remember offhand.
Is it Leo? No.
Yes, Leo. That's it.
Yeah, that's the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I've encountered he advertises
Yes.
revamped machines on the small ads websites, which is why I've encountered him. So yeah. No, nothing new. But like, if I had a bottomless wallet and a big room, I'd be buying everything in sight. I'd be probably traveling around the country in the van, looking at every typewriter that's for sale to try it out. I'd probably have a couple of 100 typewriters.
Yeah.
But as of this moment, I have 3 mechanical typewriters now in the office and 2 daisy wheel electrics. And they're the ones that I kept here because I will use them regularly. And there are 3 or 4 mechanical typewriters which have been moved into the attic because they were on the floor here. And I think I told you recently, I gave one away to a friend, an artist friend.
Oh yeah.
I gave away the Adler Special. I wasn't using it, and she's delighted. She's getting use out of it, so she's happy out. Other than that, nothing wild or exciting. I'm actually doing a lot of reading too, which is great.
Excellent.
Yeah, because you can't really be a writer unless you read. You have to.
You can't?
You have to see what everybody else is doing and make sure you're not copying it.
Yep.
My impression of that lexicon, that red lexicon, was they painted it, but they didn't service it. because the typeface looked really lousy. I mean, it looked like it needed cleaned or adjusted or something. And I
Yeah,
was kind of surprised
Actually,
that
you're
you
right,
just
the
painted it and
alignment. Maybe is the alignment out? No.
trying to sell it for a lot of money. I don't know. It didn't look that good.
Doesn't
Like
look
at
too
least-
bad.
Well, the
at least
M is high.
They're not even, well, they're line, now the M and
Oh
the
yeah.
A, the llama's not, they're not.
Yeah, it
they're-
is a little bit wonky, isn't it?
And
The
then
E
it's
is high.
cleaned, and it's like you would paint it first. I would do all the other work first and then paint it if I was trying to do a good job.
Uh,
I mean,
but you know,
trying to sell
crafters
it.
pay good money for a typewriter to work like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know. And if you
Mm-hmm.
paint a typewriter red, you're gonna get more money for it. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just like we're gonna paint it and sell it. I don't know. That's my impression. I don't want to judge the guy, but that's just what I saw.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's so good to see you, Anthony.
Always a pleasure.
Very good, very good. And Curry. I know. You were waving the cat around earlier.
Yes, well,
Well, he keeps
It's
screwing it up. You can see us, but oh my.
he's like, get me out of
Okay,
here.
that's
Oh,
enough.
he saw Robert playing with his cat.
Oh,
Martin
okay.
doesn't really want to have much to do with this right now. He's like,
Oh,
oh,
he looks like
can I
he's
leave
shocked.
now? Bye.
Usually accept me.
Oh, my cats are sleeping. Otherwise, I would grab them. But
Typewriter
oh my
cat
goodness. That look. Oh, how are you, Curry?
Good. It's been a while.
Excellent.
We did a
Yes.
type in last weekend.
Yes. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so we I'm not sure how much of you had heard the story, but at the beginning of this year, I thought to myself, I don't want to plan any type-ins this year because I'm kind of getting busier with my other business that's not typewriter related, but more aligns with what my career is. So I thought it's going to be a busy year for that, so I don't want to plan any type-ins. And she agreed. And no sooner had I thought it than the Waterloo Public Library that we had done 2 type-ins with last year reached out and said, would you do a type-in for National Poetry Month in April? So of course we don't say no. So suckers that we are, we did a type-in last week. And it wasn't too bad. I don't know, how many people did you think there was?
48 with kids.
Yeah, just shy of 50 people through, which is not bad. And this is just general public. This isn't
It's a,
typewriter
yeah,
people.
it's a free.
So we had done our Ontario Typewriter Guild meeting back in March, and so got that rolling, which we also said we weren't going to do. So a pretty good day last Saturday. Quite a few people through and typing poems and stuff like that, and I typed some of my own. So while we're on the subject, if I can share one of them that I thought was pretty good.
So that'd be awesome.
During the course of the afternoon, I tried to get around to type poems on as many machines as I could, and then the machines that I didn't get to, then I finished those over it was on the Sunday or something like that. Yeah, we brought 14 of them. So then I think I did finish up the rest of the poems on the other machines. But yeah, we had some good ones. One that wasn't by me that I thought was really good. No, it's all up here. That somebody typed and left behind. We had hung up sort of this big sheet of paper that people could post their typewritten poems on. So this one is just called Typing. Sparked and alive, it races around inside until it grows and fully forms. Then out it leaps from eyes to fingers to short, sharp gestures. Hammer down, poke and snap, poke and snap. A thought is given permanence on the page.
And she was so her daughter was being grumpy, and she's like, just leave it be for 5 minutes. I won't be able to write anything anyway. She did really good.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
So, and then here's one from me that I think I may have posted it and shared it, but I don't know if everybody saw it. So this one I did on my 1937 Underwood Universal. So it goes, Underwood, if I thought that I would make a decent reporter for the Daily Post or Weekly Press, I would bring you along as I sought the next story of downtown crimes, imported limes, county jails, local sales, structure fires, white wall tires, folks who died, Naugahyde, film reviews, local booze, politicians, statisticians, strikes for wages, funny pages, ships in ports, college sports, suits and dresses, stop the presses.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
Very good.
So yeah, so we had some fun with that. And then yeah, Becky's been,
Oh, no.
oh, we lost him again. Becky's been doing some typing as well. Just some little
Nice.
bits, trying out the machines before we put them all away last weekend. So she was ranking them.
I made little notes beside, I just printed them, like, what was the typewriter? I had to do the quick brown fox
Okay,
sentence.
come on
And
then.
then I made a note in brackets, what I liked about the machine, I didn't like. Like, was it snappy? Was it janky? Is it a nice bell? Is it an awful bell? The key rise, the types of keys. And then some of them got sad faces.
Oh,
I'm brand new to typing, but some of them are pretty awful, I think. But I'm very orientated, so I might be more fussy. But I'll never probably be a typist because I can't spell.
That's not a prerequisite.
Oh, try and read it though after. It would be a nightmare.
That's fine.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, and a snack.
Yeah. So Curry, I believe it was Sample Size on YouTube was asking or was excited to hear about Typewriter's Summer Camp 2023.
Oh,
Is there
yes.
any news on that front?
Yes. Well, there's not a whole lot that I'm going to share at this point in time.
Oh,
but,
okay.
we
Okay.
are coming along with some stuff. But it's a bit tricky because I am so busy with my other business starting to take off. But we will not leave the people disappointed. Yes, we do have a new theme and we have some new stuff coming. So stay
Cool.
tuned. Within the next month, we'll have some Typewriter Summer Camp stuff to announce.
And if they want to do a little survey, would anybody be interested in 1 or 2 short typing activities? You can give us a yes or a no, but beyond that, I don't think we could do much.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Nope.
Yeah.
We will have
Well, the
some.
merch will be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And did you say your other business is starting to take off?
But
Yes, take
It's like
off.
airlines or
I work in the aviation industry. and so
aviation? That's the word. Aviation.
Yeah, I've got my own business doing training for airports, and so I've done one trip to an airport, and then they're going to have me back again for another week, and then it's translating into more work, and then I just signed with another this past week, and so yeah, things are picking up steam. So, but
Nice.
people keep calling me for, can you fix my typewriter? And I'm like, I have to get the ones that I've got in for service right now, like out the door ASAP, because it's going to be starting at the end of May. It's going to be nuts. So yeah. But no, people still keep calling and wanting typewriters fixed and ordering ribbons online for me and things like that. So I'm like, okay.
Oh,
The airline-
see,
Sorry,
Yeah,
Greg.
well,
Got to keep it going. We don't want it to be like in
Ireland.
in Ireland where the last shop's gonna shut down.
oh,
I think
There's a few of us
Yeah,
around
so
here in
exciting.
southwestern Ontario, but yeah.
yeah. I was just gonna say, you know, you've established this reputation for yourself in the typewriter world now, so people are gonna come to you.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that reminds me, Curry. I didn't know I know that the airline business can be pretty transient. But yeah. But that aside, a lady named Barb who was out here in Calgary right while you can, I directed her to call you.
Yes.
She needs some typewriter work, so she probably was one of those people from a few weeks ago that might have done that. She's
Yes,
a
no, she was in touch recently. I think I'm just waiting to hear back from her when she wants to come by.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had And we had one drop off on Wednesday. We were supposed to have another one come on Friday, but then they couldn't find the place, but they didn't call me. I'm like, pick the phone. And then yeah, another one that's just messaged this week today that they want to bring some in. So yeah.
Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.
Auf Wiedersehen,
Bye, Robert.
Deutschland.
Thank you so much for being here.
Bis zum nächsten Mal.
Yes, Sean, thank you for the referral.
Yeah, just so you know, my reputation's on the line now too. So you better, I hope you help her out.
No pressure.
Courier's like the
No
best
pressure.
dude.
Man, high standard to keep up with there. So
Yep.
So Curry,
Right,
I've got a question for your wife, or did she just leave? Did she just leave? the
No,
room?
she's here. She's coming
Okay.
back.
I have a question for you. So did you watch Home Improvement? You know, the show with Tim Allen in it? Did you watch that a lot?
Some, yeah.
Okay, because I remember the guy that always had like half of his face showing over the
Oh, the
fence.
hat.
And I'm
Well,
What was his name? Wilson. It was like
and that's
this.
all I ever
Yeah.
see of you. It's like, okay, I see just a little bit. It reminds me of that
But
guy.
I still hate to be on camera. So it's like,
Evidently he did too.
it's an eye. It's my good eye.
Okay, that was fun.
Sean dropped off. Oh, I'll show you this find from today. Ooh, shiny.
Oh, he just
We-
missed it.
We were out. Oh, that's okay.
Wow.
We were out antiquing this morning, so found
Nice.
this Comet
I like that logo.
5. Yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
slick? Look at that.
It's
Yeah,
that's
that's
nice.
shiny.
Yeah. I don't think you can make that out. Oh, what the other way up.
That helps.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Made, seeing it says made in Great Britain on there somewhere. No, made in England. Yeah.
Made in England. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's somewhere like
Wow.
1945, 1950, something like that. So
Nice.
kind
That's
of
a
like
beauty.
all art decoed up there.
That's
So,
pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice
Gorgeous. I
So
want
these
it.
I have room for.
Yeah.
Typewriters is like no more room for typewriters.
Yeah.
Although if one came along, I would find one, but I find room. For it.
That's the nature of the
Trying
business.
Yep.
I only found a French piece and it's a cabbage.
Yeah, her things she collects are only this big. So
Yeah.
find room
He
for them.
made it to his. I took 4.5 hours to redo most of where my glass lives. Just before Easter. I didn't clean anything. I didn't do any washing, but 4.5 hours. It took me all day. And then I counted how many I have, and I was like, oh, and that's not all my antiques, only the animals. And I was like,
Oh.
oh boy.
Fountain
But
pens are
with
easier.
rejigging, it looks like I have
Fountain
less.
pens, yeah. Fountain pens
fountains.
take up even less room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a trouble
yeah.
For that though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in one typewriter case, you could probably fit what, 200 or 300 fountain pens?
Oh, I'm thinking so, at least.
Ever
100.
since you showed off your fountain pens the other week, I've been looking for them and I haven't found one. Because I'm like, oh, they look like that. I didn't realize that because I've seen a lot of pens that look like that, but just because they look like that doesn't mean they're a fountain pen. I found out too. So
Really?
Yeah.
Ink
yeah.
well pen too.
Yeah,
Mm.
What I
there's
saw
some.
anyway, when they have the top on them, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
roller balls do that.
yeah.
They don't want roller balls to dry out either, so it's if
Yeah.
it has a cap on it, it's one of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Etsy has a lot of them, and eBay has a lot of them, and there's other places.
I mean, I've been looking, like I looked around my house because I saw some that looked like that, but they were roller balls. And then out at the thrift stores too, I've been looking for them. So
Yeah, I don't find too many at thrift stores. I mean, you'd have to go to like flea markets or garage sales, because it just I don't know what happens at thrift stores. Sometimes you will. I have found some at thrift stores, but I have to curtail what I'm looking for now, because anything I'm buying, it's going to displace what else I'm using, and so
Yeah.
get to the point where how do you choose? Have to rotate them.
Yep.
That's what I started doing with my glass.
Yeah.
Some of it for the season.
Mm.
Okay.
Saying there's like this cost to space ratio for all these things, right? Like
Yeah.
typewriters are kind of like low cost, but take up a lot of space.
Thrifty, yeah.
Fountain pens are like high cost, but take up only a little tiny bit of space.
Yeah, it's true, but there is quite a range for fountain pens. You can go really cheap and really expensive. Kind
Yeah.
of like typewriters, get really cheap ones. But the thing is, with fountain pens, you don't have to have a plan for where you're going to put it before you buy it. And with a
Yeah.
typewriter, you get to a certain point where you don't always thinking about the fact that you're going to have to put it somewhere. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's going to take a
Yeah.
bigger.
We might have a
footprint.
storage locker now. I don't know. For parts machines
Yeah.
anyways, plus the other business stuff, but it's like, yeah, it's time. And it's only a half a block up the road, like 3-minute drive if that, so a 2-minute drive even, so it's like, it's time.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. Well, anything else new with you, Curry?
No, I think that's enough, isn't it? Oh, we do have another typing event coming up, but it's sort of not a general public thing, but it's a writers festival that we've been invited to in
Ooh.
June. So not too far from here. So we'll be doing that one, and then that's kind of it for so far for the year. But we will be looking at doing another Ontario Typewriter Guild probably in the fall, because we will have
Okay.
Maybe
zero
a
time in the
summer-
summer. Well, everybody's
pub meeting.
everybody's busy in the
maybe.
summer. Yeah, but somebody did suggest that, hey, let's do a, like, bring typewriters out to a pub. So somebody's busy searching for a local pub that
So
will
maybe just like a.
allow and
sit
sort of
type kind of thing
tolerate
on
the
the summer.
typewriter noise.
Yeah.
We may do some in between get-togethers, but yeah, probably in the fall we'll do another one, because everybody's busy.
Excellent.
Service and
Keep it going.
Curry's did
Yes.
very
Yes.
much like a club with an actual like little agenda, and it was actually really good. But some people just show up halfway through. It's like, it's the first meeting. Can you show up on time? Because
Yeah.
when we started to talk, and it's like, I mean, I'm good
Yeah.
at planning, so it was fine. But I'm just like, come on, guys, let's go.
Yeah, and it was a
Yeah.
miserable rainy Saturday when we did it too. It was like probably keeping people away. I know there was a few people, like they were forecasting like freezing rain and stuff, and I know there was a few people reached out and said, "No, we're sorry, I'm not gonna be able to make it." But yeah, so probably the fall will be better. But
Okay.
we
Yeah.
got to get started somewhere. So yeah.
Very cool.
I will try out all the other typewriters probably this month because it's poetry month or whatever. So I said, okay,
Yeah.
I'll try 4 or 5, and it's an ordeal because I have to lift all of them and bring them over. Just like, I'm too old.
All the other ones. So let's see, 85, and we've done 14. So
Wow. My goodness.
I
Well,
have a
Curry,
I have a question.
what
for
was
you.
that?
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Yes.
feel there's like 3 ranges of typewriters, like janky, crappy, okay, and excellent, or is there like 5 ranges or 4 ranges?
There's at least 5, I would say.
Like junk and then janky and then
because you have the Uber junk,
It's
like
like-
the new stuff that's being made in China.
Well, that depends what you're talking about, because it could be junk in terms of how it types or performs, but it might have a classy look to it. And so it's, it depends what you mean.
Yeah.
the one. Okay, so here's one that I didn't like. Now, I don't mean to. Well, some of the ones that I didn't like were actually the ones made in the USA. I liked the German ones, I liked the Italian ones, the Portugal ones, and I liked the Canadian ones, but some of the US ones were meh. It was a Remington Quiet Writer 1957. I found that one was, I thought it looks really nice, the look of that one. I thought, oh, it's gonna be really great. And I was like, it's really loud and it didn't feel very nice. And I didn't like the Eaton's Deluxe.
It was just rebranded Smith Corona.
On the Smith Corona, but the Smiths I found were like, they're okay. The Smith Corona Super Inside, they were all right. But of course, the Olympias, I see why you guys are obsessed. It's got like a spring back in the keys. Like when you type, it gives you a little push back up. And that's the only ones I found with that pushback type action. I was like, okay, those are pretty cool. There was a Royal that I thought I wouldn't like, and it was really nice. A Royal Keystone. That was really
our
nice.
$10 Royal.
Yeah. I think she went and got a dime bag after, but hey.
Yeah.
Excellent.
See, I don't like
excellent.
that pushback on the spring. You described the springiness, how it comes back. It kind of, to me, that feels spongy. I want something sharper.
Like, what do you like, for example?
So the Smith Coronas at 5 series work pretty well. I like my Royal Peas. I have a couple of those that are nice and snappy and quick. And I use the one I use on my other desk all the time is Triumph, and that's a standard Triumph 10, and it just it works, and that's what it does what I expect it to do, and it feels good. So that just, I guess it gets.
I mean, some of the Olympias are just so sexy though. Or the Remington, there's a quiet Remington, what's that one over there?
The Remington?
Like there's that the black
Oh,
one.
the Streamliners.
The Streamliner,
Remington
like,
Model 5 Streamliner.
Yeah, and I have a Streamliner too, and it's pretty high on my I like the look of it list, but it's not high on my functionality list. It feels kind of janky. Although that's the impression I get of it. And then when I go sit down with it, I said, why did I think this was janky? It's not really that bad. And it just, I don't know, it has a stigma in my head, but I absolutely love the way it looks. It's Art Deco kind of shape.
And
the
I'm
logo was
instantly
awesome.
obsessed more with the glass or the round, older looking keys, even if they're not the old glass key tops. I'm super obsessed with them. Now that I've touched them, I'm like, oh, like the older ones are just, but I like old glass too, right? So, and 70s stuff. So I'm weird, but
You're not weird.
I'm just like right away, I'm like, oh, these keys. And he's like, you haven't even typed on it yet. I'm like, dude, do you not feel the difference in the bake lights versus the square tops versus the round? And it's not just key rise, it's sometimes the shape, I think. Well, and I've got pretty big mitts for a girl, so
I like the glass, the round glass.
Yeah.
I do too.
Right.
yeah.
It's-
There's something
as far
about
as
it.
as far as what I separate typewriters into is, it wouldn't matter if I had another one already, but if it's a good price, and I'm going to make room for it if it's a good price, if it's something that I like. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to get it no matter what price it is anyway. So that, I mean, because there's some, and when I say don't like, it's like, wow, that's a piece of junk, but other than that, if it works well enough, and it's, if it works well enough, that's the big thing to me. If it works well enough and it's a well-made typewriter, I'm all for it. If it's cheap, if I can get, because sometimes you see them for $10 and you're like, wow, I'm getting that. I know that's worth $100 just out of, so it's like, I got to have it.
We get a lot of like brothers here in rough shape for like 200 Canadian dollars, and we're like, no, I'll give you 30.
Yeah,
Because it's more of an entry level for a lot of people, right? I have my grandpa's brother, which I'll probably never really type on it, but it's just, I will keep one, and it will be that one because it was his. But some of them, like the Smith Coronas lately, are just through the roof, or the Underwood 5s, right, Curry?
Oh,
The Underwood 5s that are rusted to crap.
yeah, there's so many of them.
I know. And that's the good thing though, because now, even though I have too many typewriters anyway, because I'm running out of space, the good thing is I can't afford all of them anyway. So if it's $10, I'll still make room for it. But or maybe even $30 if I see it at the thrift store. But if it is lucky if you happen to see one for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see them too much here.
There's always room for one more good one.
Store them at somebody's house, it's fine. Neighbors here.
So in the category of what do I use them for, this morning I came across a quote, and when I get quotes, that's what I do is I'll read it. You don't have to post it, but so that's what I'll just read it. It's easier. The life of each of us is divided into two factors: the means by which we live and the ends for which we live. And nothing enters much more deeply into determining the quality of a man or a generation than the handling of these two factors. So this is written, it was labeled by Dr. H.E. Fosdick, Fosdick, I think. And I had never heard of that person. So I Googled him, and he's got quite a history of quotes. So I'd saved some of his quotes, but this was handwritten in an old notebook from the 1930s from somebody. And I just had to say, well, I got to type that out. So
Yeah, that's a good
put it in
one.
my little stack of quotes. I thought that was pretty cool, actually.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, it's about that time. It's a little past 1. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Curry and Becky, was awesome seeing you guys again. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you again soon. And at some point we'll hear something about Typewriter Summer Camp 2023. So
You know, you ought to thank us people on the East Coast for hanging out till after 4 o'clock.
I know, huh? Well, thank you, Larry.
Us
Thank you.
Europeans for hanging around till after 9 p.m.
Exactly.
Oh,
yes.
thank you, Anthony. Oh, yes. How to you. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Have
And
a great day.
we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.